Soon morning time. Small group to start. I know we have a few planning to pull up. As always, I'll add a few of my extra devices. I got JD coming in. I got just JD really, just JD. Let's see. Morning, Sam. Good to see you. Request if you want. We lost Falco-Fi. Maybe he'll be back. He's been around for a long time. He's kind of an OG morning space attendee. Hoping we get an appearance from Frog, because he's always fun to have around. Smart guy. Usually we get DeFi Tard. Maybe we'll get Riz again. I like the morning crew. It's been fun. Morning brew, morning crew. And I appreciate everybody who's willing to listen to me ramble at the start of these things. That's what I do. Kind of just ramble, I know. It's my morning. I'm in the morning mode. I don't talk to anybody before you guys. Although today I talk to my family. Some days I do, sometimes I don't. Depends how lazy they are, sleepy, or how early I start these. But, here's my morning, right? So we talked about the football game last night and how I lost the survivor pool because I picked the Rams and the 49ers beat them. So that means JD is no longer a contender in one of his survivor pools. Do you guys know what a survivor pool is? I don't know if it's common in other countries or sports, but it's really big in the NFL. I don't want to bore you, but I'll be quick. So it's pretty fun. It's basically a game where you pay to play and you put like an entry fee in, right? So maybe it's like $10, whatever, something small. It could be $25. But you go to this survivor pool kind of website, and what you can do is you can pick one team out of the entire football league to win every week. And if your team wins, then you stay in. You're a survivor. But if your team loses, you're knocked out. And the only way that you can keep going is if you keep winning. And eventually you lose. So, you get into this situation where you got to be real strategic and you got to look ahead. And you've got to think, if I pick this team now, will I shoot myself in the foot, right? Because what if I need them in week 7? So you got to look ahead at all their schedules and get real strategic, and it's fun. It's interesting. But yeah, I lost last night in overtime. San Francisco 49ers beat the Los Angeles Rams 26-23. It was close, but your boy JD is officially out of that thing and a little disappointed. Good morning, Sam. You going to make me feel better?
Morning. No, because I'm going to tell you, I'm in a similar thing, and I'm into there's 16 people left in mine. We started on 200 people and there's 16 left, so, and I am one of them, so fingers crossed, 'cause it's for £2,000, so that would be nice. But yeah, I haven't been doing what you've just said about being strategic. I've just been choosing the strongest team I can possibly choose each week. And after this week, I am going to start struggling a bit, but hopefully a few more go out this week and then it gets interesting.
Sorry, Sam, you're breaking up a little. I heard most of what you said, but I lost maybe the last half. Is it your signal or mine? I'm on Wi-Fi.
It's probably mine, to be fair.
Try to redo the last bit, because I really liked the first half.
I said I haven't been doing the tactic that you've just mentioned. I've just been choosing the the strongest team available to me each week, and if I get through this week, then I'm going to start struggling from next week because I've used all the good teams, and we'll be. I think this is the 8th week, so yeah, I'm nearly halfway through, and I've only got the shit teams left to use.
Got it. Yeah, that's a common predicament to be stuck in, and that's why I do always look ahead. So yeah, you're in that spot where it's like you feel good, but you know that you sort of bit off your nose to spite your face or whatever, and just not so sure where it's gonna land, right?
Yeah, but I don't know if you heard what I was saying about there was 200 to begin with. Now there's only 16. So yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay, got it. Then yeah, you're in a decent spot then, because now just with luck by your side, you never know, you can pull it out.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. It's the first time I've done one. My mate kept telling me to do it, and I was like, do you know what? It's only a tenner. I'll get involved, and yeah, it's $2,000 on the line, so it's it could come in handy. That's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. That's cool, man. Yeah, my son actually won one 2 years ago, I think it was. It was funny, he's like was he now 15? So he was probably 13 at the time. And so we all it was a family friend that was running it, and because he was tagging along, we paid his way. We paid him like a $25. I think it was 25 for this one. So I have a family of 5, and my wife and I decided let's give everybody a chance in the family. So we paid for everybody to have an entry. And sure enough, I think now that I think about it, it was just family. We did it as like a family with like our cousins and uncles and stuff like that. And yeah, my kid ends up winning. So he ends up winning I think it was like $600, and he bought himself this electric scooter thing. I don't know if you know what those are in the UK. They stand up, you ride them around. They do 20 miles an hour, which is pretty fast. But
yeah, we got those.
Yeah, so he wanted one for so long, he was begging us for it, and couldn't afford it, whatever, and then eventually the kid just shows up out of nowhere, winning this thing, and takes it all home, and then it was crazy. He was on this big winning streak, so he bought that, and then he ends up right after this, 2 in a row, we got together for this big Christmas party at my sister-in-law's. And somebody gave him a scratch ticket, one of these little scratch off things, lottery ticket. And he instantly hit, it was like a $1 thing, and he instantly hits for $500. So this little kid, 13, now had $1,100 to his name, he had never had 5 before,
I don't know anyone who's ever won on those scratch cards.
Yeah, it's probably few and far between, but yeah, he definitely pulled this one off. So, yeah, I think once I used to get together with my friends a long time ago, and we used to occasionally buy these. You can buy a big roll of those scratch offs. They sell them
Yeah.
that. Have you ever seen that? You buy it's literally just this giant stack of them, and then what you do is we would get together, we put $10 each or so, whatever it was for each of us, and then we would end up with this just giant stack, and then we'd all sit there in a room and have fun, drink a few beers and just scratch them all off, and eventually you'd hit a bunch of them, but on average, I mean, the lottery wins, right? You lose. That's how they design it.
Yeah, I've been in a shop before where I saw a man, I can't remember how many he bought, but he literally weren't even scratching them. He bought them and was just asking the lady just to scan them straight away just to see if they won or lost. I was like, what's the point? The whole point of having them is to have that little bit of adrenaline scratching it off, but yeah.
I'm so with you. I hate when people do that. I see people do that a lot too, and I'm like, no, at least if you're gonna part with your money, you might win, you might lose, but at least get the experience, right? Like if you don't get the experience, you just wasted it all. Like, so silly. I'm with you. Even though the experience is, look, we're scratching a piece of paper with a nickel. It's not exactly like, I don't know where humanity has come to that this is exciting, but anyway, is what it is. But yeah, that experience is fun. And, I think like, it's funny, like I don't get into gaming a lot, but occasionally I find myself in a game and then I just get stuck in it. And that one that Meg pushes, actually, the BC game thing, I've played that a few times, and there's money on the line, but you can play with really small amounts. And occasionally that's kind of a fun, I guess, crypto game for me, but I don't do a lot of crypto gaming. I guess like I'm trying to think if I have in the past a little bit. I used to use, a few of them. I used to play Sidus Heroes. I used to use, Gaiman, it's called. It doesn't have a G at the end. I think they have a ticker, GRX or GMX or something. I don't know. So I've used a few of these things, but I'm not huge into gaming. Do you do much gaming?
No, I don't, but I have seen a few sort of projects around when I've been in spaces and stuff, and the simplest one is actually not. I haven't used it, but it's very simple, but probably quite fun. Is the heads or tails, and you can literally just put like $5 of Solana, and flip a coin, and you either win or you don't. I can see that becoming quite addictive to people, so I try and steer clear of things like that.
Yeah, it's, yeah. I mean, some of them are straight up gambling, but the ones like Sidus Heroes, for example, is a legitimate game. It's actually pretty fun. Like I said, I haven't played it in a while, but I was actually really enjoying it. I might even go back to it. There's another one. Can't remember what it was called. I used to play a lot. But Sidus Heroes is like, it's sort of like a digital version of a trading card game, maybe. But you have like these like big robot dudes, and you can pick like different ways to like use the cards and, give them different types of expert skills or weapons. And then you kind of go to battle against others, and then you can, build up points and stuff. But you don't have a lot of risk because it's basically like, farming toward an airdrop type deal. So you're just accumulating points. I don't think I ever paid anything. I don't think there were tokens that I had to buy to get in. I think it was just a matter of accumulating points for an airdrop or something like that. So there's a lot of games out there like that. And that's where, our gaming alpha scout is going to be able to give us some of this information on the latest stuff. Because you can have fun with it. You can literally just play these mindless games and earn points toward an airdrop. But you got to know, like, is this a team that will actually give me an airdrop at all? How do I know? I should have confidence. When will it happen? What will the unlock schedule be? Are they shady? Like, all those types of things are important. So, and I'm not an expert in them, right? But we will find a gaming scout who's really good at that and knows those signals. And I think then maybe, who knows, might turn some non-gamers into Web3 gamers. I don't know.
Yeah, and I guess with things like that, the games could be sort of set up as rigged. You have a very minute chance of winning, but I don't know. Like you said, I've never sort of got involved in any of that, so I don't
Well,
know.
it's not even winning or losing, right? So think of it like this: they just want people playing, right? Because they want exposure. These brands, so you literally just play for free and get free money. The only question is, what's the best use of your time? Like, how much free money will you get and when, and what will it be worth? But there's no risk because you're literally just playing a free game with a wallet connected so that you can get free money.
Oh, right, yeah. Sounds quite cool, then.
But again, like I said, there's so many of these airdrop farming opportunities in crypto, and some people are more or less experienced in different areas of them. And, there's free money everywhere here. It's just a matter of deciding where you want to look for free money and what free money you want to get. I mean, look at the GFM harvesting option, right? Like to this day, anybody can go to that site and just connect their wallet and just go harvest tokens and you just get free money. Like there's not a lot because there's not much volume anymore, but when there was some volume, like I would do that occasionally, just pop that thing open and just get free money in the morning.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely opened up my wallet before and seen tokens that have obviously just been, pinged to me. Obviously not much, but because I don't open my wallet, I don't trade every day, and I don't open my wallet every day. By the time I go in there and I see it, and then I check it on like Dexscreener and that, and I was like, fucking hell, it ran up to like 4 million or whatever, and then by the time I see it, it's worth like $3, and it's back down at like 60k market cap.
Yeah, I mean, it's, that's another story. But in terms of the harvesting, do you know what I mean? How that is literally just a button you push for free money?
Yeah, I didn't do it a whole lot because sometimes on GFM it was costing me more the transaction than what I was receiving. So
Totally. Yeah, you had to be really, diligent to find the ones that were good. But I started to get in the habit of like, there are certain tickers that I just knew would always be spitting out good rewards, good harvests. And I think it had to do with, I got pretty good at this because I think what happens is there are certain people who launched and just didn't even know about the harvest mechanism. Cause some people, like, for example, Rune Mine, they launched and they like didn't engage a lot with the community after that. They were kind of like, they launched, they did really well. And as a GFM affiliate, I was hosting spaces and stuff and occasionally they would join, but they weren't like really engaged. And I think they just didn't even know all the things about some of the platform that they had launched on, which is normal because I don't know that much about Pump Fun or none of it. There's certain, like we just use the thing. We don't have to know everything about it. But I noticed that there were examples like that for Rune Mine and others where they just weren't harvesting. Like their whole community probably just wasn't engaged a lot with GFM, and so the holders weren't paying attention, but they were still generating volume. They were 1.5 million market cap. So I would pop that thing open and just be able to harvest like every day. But that was just an example. The other one was that long short game that Stack Overflow made. Like, I don't know, man. He never pushed it. Do you know that story? Do you know who he is?
no, I don't.
So Stack Overflow used to work for Pump Fun and like pulled off some crazy heist scam hack thing. I don't know. I don't want to like blast the guy. I mean, you could look it up. It's pretty public common knowledge at this point, but like, I think he worked there and got fired or something. But basically he's like a real good developer and pulled some shit at Pump Fun. And, he launched this thing on GFM called Long Short Game. And I honestly don't know that much about it. It was something about like perpetual trading that he was going to build. And I don't really know if he built much, but the thing just had volume forever. It was like never ending volume. It probably still does. Funny. I'm going to look it up now. I'm just going to go and look in Dexscreener and just see if I can find it. Let's see. See if this thing's still doing anything. Long, short game. Who knows if I'm going to find it that way, but I will find it. I've had it before in like my watch lists and stuff. I'll go to the GF.
Touching on a point that you just said, I mean, it's no surprise that people didn't know much about GFM because it's not as if the team were very vocal, were they?
I mean, well, yeah, that and like some people just don't engage, right? It's like it's partly that, but it's partly just I think people are just like, I'm gonna launch there and I'm not gonna like spend my time there. Like when you launch in Pump Fun, you don't go back there a lot. Now they've become more sticky with their streaming, but historically you just launch there, right? And like once you bond, you don't go back there for anything. You just live on Radium. You know what I mean? So I think it's that simple. I think it's just, it has nothing to do with the team. I agree with you. The team kind of checked out, but these are people that just don't have any reason to spend their time on their launchpad after they've grown up and they're way beyond the launchpad. But yeah, this thing's kind of dead. It's not even showing up in Dexscreener anymore. So I was wondering if he was still pushing it, doing something with it. Like, dude never promoted it, and it just kept having volume. So I was like, harvest. Where else can we get free money, man? That's, I changed the title because maybe people will pull up and tell us where to get free money. Everybody likes free money.
People are going to join thinking you're the one giving it.
Well, I am. That's part of the reason I did it. We have a giveaway going on.
Oh, yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
funky bit.
Yeah, so I'll throw that in the Jumbotron, I guess, because that is actually the reason that I named it this. I figured it's a double entendre or something, right? We want people to tell us, like, we're actually talking about where to get free money, which is good, because people should all learn where to get free money. That's part of the reason we're going to have Alpha Scouts, to reveal good tech being built by good people, but also, because free money is available, and if our scouts can help people find it, then they will, and they should. And I know they can. The people on the Alpha Scout team are absolutely extremely familiar with, farming airdrops and where to get the free money. They've all been very experienced in that area, so I'm sure they can. I bet each Alpha Scout could immediately tell us, oh, go here for free money. Like if they were here, I bet each of them would have an instant answer, and we'd all be able to make some money for free today with no risk. Not a ton of money, right? I don't want to, it's not like we're going to open a case of $1 million because we, put a trading card on a screen, but it's just true, right? These companies have deep pockets. That's the thing. This industry, crypto industry, has a massive amount of money, right? It's not massive compared to the stock market, but it's big. It's $4 trillion. So in that environment, right, people are always moving money around, and you got some big players, and they're looking to get their next big brand pushed so they can rinse everybody and do it again. But, since we know that game's happening, you can play into it, right? Because that they're investing in a thing that's going to have a TGE in a few months, and they need lots of people to be excited about it and engage with it so that it will, raise a lot of money. And then they can go to their investors and go, look at how many users we have, blah, blah, blah. In order to do that, they got to incentivize people to play. And it's just a simple concept. So you can just kind of take advantage of it. So if you guys didn't engage in the giveaway, please do. It's in the post up top. I'm going to take a look. I know we had a couple submissions. We didn't have a ton, but that's okay. Let's see. We got Emma's. I'll throw that on the Jumbotron. Shout out Emma. Let's see if we got any others here. Thought I saw one or two more. I see people who are just, asking for money with their Addy in there. It's weird. I saw the game post one yesterday. Did he forget to put it under the original post? Maybe? Well, anyway, yeah, the game might have forgotten to put his under the original post or something. I think he put it on the JD post. But I don't think we're going to honor that. So I'm going to have to let him know. I like the game. He's been active in Telegram. Do you guys know the game? Do you know who I mean? Sam, if you're on, but no worries if your phone's in your pocket or whatever, but I'd love to know. I have a reason. I'd love to know if you know who the game is or anybody else here. Have you guys noticed the game in our Telegram?
Yes, sorry, my phone was in my pocket. No, if I do not know, I don't.
Okay. So he's been very, very active compared to anybody else. as far as I can tell, but maybe you and I are in different time zones, so maybe that's why we don't always like see the same people. But yeah, he's been really active. And I appreciate that. I was thinking giving him a little bounty, but you got to notice him first. And if he didn't do enough for you to notice him, then he's not there
Sorry.
yet. No, it's okay.
Yeah, no, I have seen his name. I thought you meant, do I know who he is or where he's come from? No, I've set a couple of his raids in the Telegram and stuff like that. Yeah, I have definitely seen him. I'm not trying to. I didn't think you meant that.
Oh, got it. Yeah. Cool. Then you're validating it. So, all right. I assume you agree, like, you're not going to say no because you're the nicest man I've ever met. But what do you think? Like, should we give him a little something?
Yeah, sounds good. And then yeah, hopefully he'll continue.
I was teeing you up to like, for this to be the time when you're like, you know what, JD, nah, like, let's not do that. He doesn't quite deserve it. I thought it was coming.
You know me. Takes a lot for me to say no.
That's funny, man. No, but I appreciate Chad to step up. Oh shit! Did somebody tell you to join? All right, welcome to the space, the game. We just decided that I appreciate you. We appreciate you, and we're gonna give you a little bounty just for hooking us up and being active in the Telegram and showing up on X. So welcome to the space, the game. Perfect timing. We were literally just talking about you, and I don't know why I feel like $J Vibes was hitting emojis and then you pulled up. So maybe you somehow know each other. I don't know. Ha ha ha. Don't care. Appreciate you if that's true anyway. But yeah, man, we're going to hook you up a little bit. So I don't expect some giant thing. I'm not talking $100, but, DM JD or Addy, please. And we'll give you a little something, man. Cause I just appreciate you. And like I said, I promise I don't want to imply it's huge. It's small, but I just like to do things like that for people that step up because I appreciate it. And, you know, we've talked a lot about how this is a major struggle for me, guys, like a major emotional struggle. It really is. The sort of decision between hiring raid teams and between relying on organic growth is so hard as a dev. And it's not my first rodeo, but like, this is the hardest time ever for me because I've never been on every project I've been on, it made sense to pay a raid team because the community like eventually got to the point where they just wanted it and they knew that our only path to success was exposure. And our only path to success was hype, right? Like get more people to notice us. And then when you say to yourself, well, for X amount of money, if we can get many more people talking about us, should we? Well, yeah, of course, right? And so then you're like, okay, fine, pay a raid team. But here it's very different because we're actually creating like a content magnet that will pull people to us. And so it's a very different strategy because when you have like actively engaged spaces with people that are talking about crypto in a level of depth that you don't see often, and you know, under the branding of a brand that like gives you the comfort that these are legitimate projects and will put their stamp of approval on that, it's unique. So I think we're just going to end up, once we start doing those, a lot of people coming to us. And for that reason, I'm hesitant to, do we need the paid raid teams? Do we need the like heavy exposure push now? I mean, it's never bad, right? Like I think we do want it because we want a lot of people to be paying attention to us so that when we do our first spotlight space, it's like a big banger and it's well attended. And look, our first go round might not be perfect, right? So we can talk about that in a few minutes because I think it's worth like being humble and talking about it together. But I think with the paid raid team thing, what I really, 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 really want is people who genuinely like the project, pay attention to the project, one or two at a time, to get rewarded occasionally for doing awesome work. Maybe those people do such incredible work that we find a role for them on the team because there's a good role and a good fit. But that's not the plan, because I'm not looking to hire like a bunch of community managers and raiders, because I just don't think we need to. I think we're creating valuable enough content that it will bring people to us. And I also think, like, I know a bunch of people in the space. A lot of us do. A lot of the alpha scouts do. So I think we just, in the alpha scouts, by the way, like, they have reputations and they have good followings and they have friends. So we have this like sort of built-in way to spread soon around. All that said, I definitely want more activity. I want more raids. It's ridiculously stupid for me to spend my time on it. And I know that I don't mean that as like some weird prima donna thing. It's just, I think you guys want me, like, during the time, instead of raiding, I think you probably want me reviewing some of these 30 Alpha Scout applications and talking to them and interviewing them and bringing them on and managing the scouts and planning content and working with the animators. Like, there's a lot of shit I can do, right? So I'll keep raiding if I need to, but it should just change. Like, it should get to a point where we have some pretty good raiders in the community and you're not always relying on JD to do it. Now, if we pay a raid team, then that raid team is forever going to be paid. And that means that this project will suffer financially. I don't want to do that. I don't think that's a good way for us to spend our money at all. I think, from a project perspective, I'd much rather have money that pays content creators like animators and alpha scouts, because they create the content that will benefit all of our holders. So our holders should help promote them, right? Like, if you're holding this bag and you have this group of people producing content that's going to help your bag grow, you should just tell people about it. That's how Web3 works. If I was just going to hire a raid team, I would just buy all the supply myself and I wouldn't want to share it with you guys, right? Like, this business could just be mine. I could have just launched a Web3 business without tokenizing it, right? In theory. Or I could tokenize it, but buy it all up and give it to the scouts and like just build the team. But I didn't do that, right? I wanted everybody, we as a team, wanted this to be decentralized ownership. But that means when people own shares, they should step up and, tell people about it. Just because that's how Web3 works. And I'm a bag worker, like, by nature, right? When I'm not I'm JD, you guys know that, I think. I know I'm on the Soon account, but when I work on projects, just because I bought a bag, I grind. I go to spaces, I shill, I raid, I fall asleep with my phone in my hand, even if I'm not on the team, because I just care, because I have work ethic. And so I think we will find more JDs and we will find more The Games and we will find more people that step up, more Sams, right? Jafari, I've seen you active. Riz, I appreciate you, man. But there are so many more people holding that just aren't active. This isn't me complaining. This is just like normal shit, right? That every project has. So every project has this situation and has to decide, do I pay a raid team or not? And my answer is, don't hire externally, but if you find someone internally who's just great and contributing a lot, then maybe reward them or hire them. Because I think that's a better way for us to find great, high quality people. And I won't pay like stable on a regular basis for raids because the quality suffers. If somebody knows that they just have to do 12 raids a day for 5 days to get $20 or whatever it is, they're just going to do the bare minimum to get their $20. But if they get engaged enough and they prove that they love Soon and they know Soon, then I can give them a bag of Soon that they'll work for. And I can say to them, we're going to give you some now and some later. Like, the aligned incentives are given everybody. And it really works. It's worked already. It's how we brought everybody on. And so those contracts, those arrangements mean that we can keep the people working long term toward shared goals with us. That's what it's all about. And I'm excited to find those individuals. I'll get right to you, A Money J. Frog, good to see. I got your request, but let me finish this piece. To put a bow on this, I did find a raider that's going to help us. I had the option to hire a raid team many times, and I didn't want to, but this is a person who's a friend of a person who's already been a major contributor to our project. And I don't want to get into the details, but this arrangement just fell in my lap through a trusted individual, and it was just the most incredible, like mutual beneficial kind of deal. If I said much more, I'd be revealing someone's personal situation, and I don't want to do that. So just know that this was a combination of, like, in a weird way, it was sort of a mutual thing where it was almost a mix of my philanthropy and their just fire at what they've been doing for us. And I won't say anything more than that. But I'm excited because I think this thing that we just did to get this raider for a few weeks genuinely helps a human being I care a lot about and our project. And it's not a whole team. Like, I'm not bringing on a smash team, so we won't have like 10 random people who don't actually love Soon, showing up instantly on our raids, making us look like a dumb pump and dump meme coin, because that's not what we are. It's just one person that will actually study our project and help set raids because motherfuckers are lazy. And I'm okay with paying a little bit for that, but only if it's really good and it comes from people that start organically with us. That's the key. A Money J, you've been holding that hand up. Put it down. Your arm must be tired, but what's up, brother?
I'm good, bro. Bro, I'm good. I'm happy to be here, bro. Bro, I do it, bro. I can raid, bro. I can do some bullish things to bring more eyes into the community.
Sorry, man. No, this is like literally the opposite of what I've been saying. Like, I appreciate having you up here. I appreciate you and I respect the hustle, but like, you literally just showed up and said, can I have a job, instead of like actually paying attention to the project first, which is literally my point. And so I won't hire you, but I genuinely want you to like think about what just happened, right, bro? Like, if you came up here and you were like, tell me about Soon, and you like paid attention to it and you cared about it and you showed that you love it, this might have gone differently. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, bro, yeah.
So look, I understand, like, you could take that advice and go to some other space and like, just like pretend you care and you love it. But it really comes across. I think that's why I love spaces. Like, when I meet people that genuinely seem to really love Soon, I think I can tell the difference. And I think if you stuck around, you might really love Soon. But I'm sorry if I'm so direct. I want to make good use of everyone's time and your time. And I won't hire a person that just requests a mic and asks for a job. So.
All right, bro. Thanks.
You're welcome, man. Sincerely, good luck. And you're welcome to stay if you'd like.
Yeah, bro. I will stay, bro. And I will try my best for you to bring me back.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Welcome, Frog. Good morning. How are you today?
Well, my sleep schedule makes it very hard for me to determine what's morning and what's night these days. I'm pretty sure the sun's supposed to like go down when you sleep and come up when you wake up, but I've given up on the logic. So, but I came because I saw there was free money. Now I'm no tyrant, but I expect at least $1,000. So I'm just I'm trying to be reasonable.
Yeah, it's a reasonable ask. I mean, first of all, in any negotiation, you start high, right? So, like, I respect that for sure because, you're not getting a G, but hey, who knows? Like, maybe a C note. But no, that's not happening either. However, there is a C note on the line, and that is the point. In the Jumbotron, the free money thing is a double entendre. We talked about it earlier. Actually, there's two reasons we're talking about free money. One, in the Jumbotron, you can see an example of an entry, and you can see a giveaway. Our newest Alpha Scout that has joined the team is Funky Beats. Good dude. I really enjoyed my Google Meet with him. I don't know if he'll ever like fully dox on video to you guys, but I love my Google Meet interviews with the scouts because like in Web3 we don't always get face-to-face time. But anyway, loved this guy. Really happy to have him on the team, and he's got $100 to give away, which is free soon for somebody. So we do this with every Alpha Scout. We give them $100 of soon to give away, and they get to celebrate their onboarding. So that's part of the free money. Frog, you're welcome to enter. I don't know why I don't see you as a dude who like chases these giveaways and engages with all of them, but this one you really do have a chance if you want to try, because I think you know me by now. But the other thing with the free money is we were talking, you know how these spaces go, right? We evolve through the space and the title changes. We started to talk a little bit about gaming in Web3 and how like between games and other types of things, there's just airdrops. There's free money everywhere. And, you know, the question always is not like, is there free money? Because there is. Is it worth your time? Like, where is the place to go where you'll find the free money that will actually have a TGE and won't have like a crazy unlock schedule that takes you till 2099 to get any of it, and will actually be worth something, and maybe is by trusted backers that will really deliver. So, you know, navigating all that is interesting. And I was just saying how I think our Alpha Scouts, each probably in their own sector, if they were here, could tell us each, like, here's a place to go accumulate free money. So I'm guessing you know places to get free money too. There's just free money around here. And we talked a little bit about the $4 trillion in crypto and how, you know, within that, it's just always moving this place to that place. But there's always some big VC project that's like needs attention and was willing to pay for the engagement and willing to pay for you to just play their games or, you know, yap about them or whatever. So that's kind of the topic is like, you know, it'd be great if you're like, hey, here's a place for free money. But that was sort of the general gist of what we're talking about.
I think after yesterday, I'm pretty convinced that the frog is an ETH miner.
Yeah, he's a Titan builder.
Bro, if I was Titan Builder, I'd be in the Bahamas right now. No, screw that. I'd own multiple islands in the Bahamas, and I would be building a series of bunkers in New Zealand, and all of my time would be like meandering around trying to figure out how to extend my life. But I appreciate that you thought I was that smart.
Why the Bahamas? Tell me why the Bahamas, or was that just a random selection?
You know, it's because that's like the one I always hear, right? I couldn't tell you the difference between like, you know, the Bahamas or any other island paradise, right? But that's like the one you hear about when people talk about like getting rich and then like running off into the sunset.
That makes sense. Yeah, I think I can get down with that. I'd like to see you there. It's a good goal. It's a good goal. They have a really good resort in the Bahamas called the Atlantis, which I've heard about but never been to. And I think it's the place where they have some like water slide that goes through a shark tank. That's like the big draw, I think, to that place. But I've never been there. But I saw pictures and heard about it. It seems really cool. If anybody's been to the Atlantis and went down a water slide that had shark tanks around them, I really want to hear about it.
Bro, the insurance on that. Can you imagine the insurance?
No, not at all, because my kid just started driving and Jesus, the insurance is ridiculous, man. I'll tell you that much.
Just like call farmers. Like, yeah, farmers, I want to build a water slide that goes through a whole bunch of man-eating sharks, and I want millions of people to go through this every year for the next 30 years. What's my monthly payment?
Seriously, I know, that would be interesting, man. They'd be like, yeah, I think you're gonna need another carrier. I got fired from an insurance company. You guys know they do that? Like if you actually have like literally, no pun intended, we had a fire in the house And the insurance company literally says, we won't insure you after you have a fire. It's crazy. Like, it's like, that's your business model. But then when you need the insurance, they legit cancel your policy. And then I had to go find another provider. I'm like, what the fuck kind of scam is this?
Yeah, I've noticed that as I've sort of, the more into adult life I've been getting, it's hard to get things. So I've got private healthcare. I'm sure you're aware, we have the NHS, which is free healthcare, but over the years it's becoming shitter and shitter, harder to get an appointment. And now I've got 2 kids, I pay for private healthcare, and when I've had to use it, you might as well not have it. I mean, I'm with quite a decent company, but yeah, there's so many little things that aren't told to you. So like, I had an appointment for my son last year, and we had a bill through about 3 months after, saying that, I know it's obviously not much, but saying that we owed 50 quid for the hiring of a room. So where we spoke to the doctor, apparently the doctor had to hire the room to literally speak to us for 2 minutes, and yeah, we got a bill for 50 quid.
Yeah, that's how they get you, man. I have the same with insurance. I mean, health insurance in the U.S., it's like you're required to have it. It's a law, right? Like, there's this. It used to be the case that it was optional, but I think it was with the Obamacare thing. Yeah, they made it just a requirement. So like every single human being has to pay for health insurance in the U.S., or you can get it for free if you qualify for government plans or whatever. But I think there's still like private plans, but the government subsidizes it. But somehow you can get free insurance, but you have to have insurance, and you can only get it free if you qualify, right? You're low enough income or something. And it's weird because, like, I don't know, it drives me nuts. I understand the rationale, which is like, there's a legitimately and good humane policy that our hospitals have, which is that you just never turn someone down. Like, you can't not treat an emergency patient. You can say no to somebody who wants a mole removed from their butt cheek, but if somebody's like in an emergency situation, they get the care that they need, no matter what. You can't refuse it as a hospital. So I understand why, like, people want individuals to be insured, because if you're insured, then you have less emergency situations, less like heart disease. Like, those emergency heart attacks probably cost taxpayers a fortune. So they can argue that, like, it's better for humans to have, even financially, it's better to give people healthcare that's preventative throughout their life. And also, just on a humane level, like, it's nice to take care of other humans, I guess. If you think about where your tax money goes, maybe it should go to other people, like staying alive. But the healthcare system's abused and broken, and that is my biggest gripe. Like, if I believed that our healthcare system operates properly, then I would think differently. But I just don't. I think it's all fucked up, and it's driven too much by financial interests and not enough by what's actually good for people. I think the food system's broken too, and I think we're kind of fixing all the wrong things, the wrong ways, but I don't know if we want to go there on this call. Frog, what's up?
I'm gonna have to be the actually guy, but at least I'll say it with the voice. Actually, no, jokes aside, the penalty for not having health insurance as part of the Affordable Health Care Act was disbanded on a federal level 2019. There are still a few states which do still practice that, but we're talking about a few, like, maybe 7 out of all 50 or something like that.
Probably mine. I'm gonna guess that Massachusetts is one of those.
I mean, Massachusetts, I don't know off the top of my head, but It probably is. That's why they call it Massachusetts.
All right. Well, thank you for the correction. I'm happy to be wrong because I learn when I'm wrong. So yeah, so I think what you're saying is you actually cannot have health insurance at all now, but you still would get emergency care covered, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I also don't want to go down the rabbit hole that is American healthcare. I think it's basically like this is how I'd say it in 30 seconds. If you're just absolutely living in poverty and you get hit by a bus, you're gonna get saved and then owe like hundreds of thousands of dollars probably forever. If you're medium income, and I mean like, definitely under six figures medium, you're gonna get subsidized a little. Let's just say 24,000. If you're at the poverty line, you'll get subsidized. But most people don't know how to enroll through healthcare.gov, right? So like they could have been on a pretty decent plan, but they don't even know how to do it, right? And nobody's like desperately trying to teach them either, right? And then the third option is you just have money and you're pretty much just good.
Wait, so I don't understand one thing you said. You said if you're in I'll call it middle income, whatever range, you get partially subsidized, but if you're in poverty, you get zero subsidy and you get a huge bill. Is that what you said?
Yeah, so if you had $0, right, like you were just desperate and you actually had no money, you couldn't get a plan that would, like, where the subsidy would matter, right? Because if they're paying 80% of your plan and you still have $0, then you don't have health insurance, right? So like, let's say you get hit by a bus, right? Well, yeah, they're gonna take you into the hospital, they're gonna patch you up, this, that, and the other, right? They're not just gonna say let them die.
Sorry, now I get it. You're saying because those individuals just won't be able to support any form of healthcare plan because it would cost them some amount of money out of their own pocket.
Yeah, and even if there's still that thing where like everyone has Medicare, even if I don't remember if that's still a
Yeah,
thing.
because I feel like that's the case. We could look this up, but I feel like if you're in total poverty in the U.S., you can get some healthcare plan for free.
But what I'm saying is I don't think it would cover like the hundreds of thousands of dollars that would be required to stay in the hospital for like a month after all your bones get put back together.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Depending on, it might be like a shitty healthcare plan or something like that. That doesn't, well, I don't say shitty because maybe it's still pretty good that they put you back together. You could have just rotted on the pavement, so you should appreciate being put back together. But it might not give you like the level of care that like fancy Blue Cross Blue Shield HMO does or whatever.
Well, and like we're not the UK, no disrespect, Sam. So we don't have the you can't pay, we'll take it away kind of high court bailiff stuff. So if you owe a hospital like 200 grand, you're just like bankruptcy. And then all of a sudden, right? Like your credit's just as bad as it was yesterday, but you don't know anybody anything.
You're right. That's true. We just get saved as much as we want in the U.S. through bankruptcies. I mean, there are attorney fees and stuff, but the bankruptcy court, the bankruptcy covers that in some way, shape, or form anyway.
Yeah, that happens here as well. Obviously not for medical things, but a lot of people run businesses into the ground, take out big loans, blah, 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 business loans, don't pay staff, take all the money, then file for bankruptcy. It happens everywhere, I
Well,
think.
here it's personal though, Sam. So like, if I as a homeowner decide to just not pay for my house and like, go to the casino and do drugs, I can then just go to the court and say I'm not going to pay any of my bills, and they just wipe out all my debt, and then I just start over. Now my credit sucks, but I can just start over. Like I can just get a job and rent an apartment and be okay, and I don't owe anybody anything anymore permanently. Like they just wipe out all my debt. It's by law.
Bro, Sam, one of my favorite shows from the UK is Can't Pay, We'll Take It Away. Have you seen it?
Yes, I have.
So, okay, soon, check this out, right? So you know how hard it is to evict someone here in America, right?
Yeah, my roommate after college, man, he stayed forever without paying. So yeah.
Bro, the roommate. But so over there, right, they have the same kind of problem. However, you can get what's called a high court writ, right? And then 2 high court bailiffs show up at the house. They knock on the door. They say, if you don't open the door, we'll just locksmith open the door and have the police come with us. You have 24 hours. Or excuse me, no, you have 1 hour. You have 1 hour to get whatever you can carry and get the fuck out of here before we arrest you. And if you don't arrange with the landlord to come back, at which point you have 24 hours to get the rest of your stuff, we'll just sell it off. Now, if you're a business and you owe somebody money, right? It's the same kind of problem, right? It might take forever, all that. But if you go as a UK citizen, get what's called a high court writ, they will come, these high court bail bondsmen will come to the actual business and say, you owe $6,000. You can pay it within the next 30 minutes. If you don't pay it, we'll take it away. Like the name of the show. Can't pay, we'll take it away. They just start hauling off everything you own. Your computers, your desks, your paper, they just take everything.
That's amazing. I gotta see this. Can't pay, take it away.
Can't pay, we'll take it away.
Can't pay.
It does take a lot to get to that point. You know, there are, it's like months and years to get a high court writ, but you know, there are people that, you know, I'm sure you have squatters over there, but there's squatters' rights here, and you basically, if you walk out of your house and someone walks in whilst you're out and then locks you out of your house, and they can claim squatters' rights, and you literally can't, by law, kick them out of your own house. It's fucking insane.
Wow. That's crazy. Yeah, there's all kinds of, it's funny, like I gotta watch your show, cause even if cause I don't want you to ruin it for me, Sam, like I'm just gonna pretend that you didn't say that it's a little difficult. I'm just gonna be like,
I would contest that, but I'll shut up.
oh, we got American Frog contesting the guy who actually lives there. But no, I'm sure there are lots of sides to all these things and lots of nuances and situations, but, I do want to pivot a little, even though bankruptcy is a fun title, and talk a little bit, maybe, Frog, if you had a chance, no pressure, but did you happen to have a chance to look at that GFM staking pool Addy that I shared with you?
You know, I won't lie and say I took a real deep look at it, but I punched in the contract on SoulScan, and it doesn't really appear to just be that many transactions, right? Like sure, if your coin sort of stays at 100K market cap, I mean, every bit helps or hurts, but like as the coin goes up in value, the transactions over there seem kind of moot. Like I wasn't seeing, you know, bands moving through that every week. It would be like a 0.01 soul, and then like 4 hours later, like a 0.02, maybe like another 3 hours later, a 0.01. So, I mean, and in the end, right, they're claiming rewards on Soon that they staked. So it's somewhat at face value appropriate to say that the amount of Soon they have to lock up to get their tiny little bit, right, that they could then theoretically sell off is probably negligible.
Yeah, I understand that. But when I think back so keep in mind, I'm not surprised the volume's low because that's the staking pool from a platform that's kind of dead. So I don't expect people to be like using GFM, you know what I mean? Staking. I don't condone it. I don't suggest it. It's kind of what we were talking about yesterday. My thought though is, I'm writing right now. I need to write them down because I didn't write them down yesterday. But there were 3 reasons that we were looking into liquidity pools. 1 was for the rewards. 2 was for deter farming and mev bots and stuff like that by having some sort of, expense that would make it less attractive. And then the third was, it was LP rewards. It was to deter farming. And it was I got it. Stability during the bear market. Those are our three objectives. So when I think, does this pool serve any purpose? That was kind of the main question. It won't. Yeah. All right. So that's the main question. It won't be a good place for us to generate rewards because I can't fully trust it. I don't not trust it, but I just can't in good conscience say go use a platform that no one's managing. It feels wrong for me to say that as a dev, but I won't tell people not to. But then,
just to quickly jump in and how fucking annoying that is, because I had 1% soon staked for not long, 2 or 3 weeks, and got, I think it was about 200,000 soon tokens and a little bit of soul as a reward. And bearing in mind soon at the beginning wasn't getting a ton of volume. I dread to think how rewarding it could be if things worked out how we all hoped they would.
Well, yeah, but I don't. Yes, I mean it sucks, but at the same time, it's okay. Life is always full of things that, like the Rams would have won last night. That would have been good for the rest of my survivor pool, but they didn't. So I'm gonna try to go find other things to make me happy. So I'm with you, Sam, but at the same time, it's okay. It's okay. It doesn't really matter to me because we can't change the past, but we can think about how it fits into our future. That's the whole thing. I want to be thoughtful about it. It's there. It exists. It's got 5% of our supply. So I guess back to you, Frog. Would this thing act as a liquidity pool possibly? Is there ever a future scenario where there's a trading route that somehow goes through this thing? Or is it only going to be used if someone manually stakes and unstakes?
One more time.
No problem. No problem. I'm asking, is it possible that this staking pool, this would ever be used as a liquidity pool through trading routes, automatically, or no, it would never be picked up because it's just not that type of pool?
So, and I'm actually looking at the Soul Scan again right now. I can't read Solidity, so I can't see what the actual contract says. Let me try something here. I mean, it doesn't appear to be a real liquidity pool, right? I see the 5 mil-ish soon, and I see about 1 soul. And
wait, 50 mil, right? Are we looking at the same wallet?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, 49.7
Okay, cool.
mil. Yes, correct.
Cool.
And I only see about 1 soul, so it can't be. If it's a pool, it's a concentrated liquidity one, right? Because it couldn't possibly be V1 or V2. Then it would be equal value meme soul. I don't know what the under the hood with this is. It really boils down to how it generates more soon, which I truly don't understand. Is it allowing for swaps between soon and another coin, which then generate fees, which is then used to pay its stakers? Or is that not how it works? Right. Let me ask you this. Maybe this will help. You created this a while back, right? Through GFM, yeah?
Yeah.
When you created it, what did it ask you to deposit?
Nothing. It's free. It's just that there's a tiny transaction fee to launch in GFM. But what happens is the trading fees are what's feeding that pool. But in other words, the people put their funds in there. They put their tokens in and they stake them, right? But then with every trade, a portion of the trading fees go to the stakers somehow in that pool, and then when you unstake, you claim back what you've earned plus what you deposited. That's the marketing story. I don't know under the hood because I can't read Solidity either.
Right, because we keep calling it a pool, but that's the whole question. Let me ask you this. So you could go right now and get to the stage where you're, quote, about to deposit something, like don't actually do it, but like could you get to that step real quick?
Absolutely. I could do it on the front end, and I have a transaction hash that I could use as a custom instruction on the back end.
Okay, so just see what happens. What does it tell you it wants if you say you want to put 1 million soon in?
I'll look, but I know I've done this a million times, so has Sam. It requires like some tiny amount of SOL for transaction fee, and then it takes your soon, and then it gives you back like a staked version of your token.
But it doesn't ask you for Solana to go with it.
No, only I think there's like a tiny TX fee, but no, you don't deposit. It's not like it's not like definitely not like 50-50 like double-sided or something, if that's what you're getting at.
Yeah, I mean this is why I keep saying it doesn't sound like a pool. Let me ask you this. When this was created, for lack of a better phrase, did it say anything about like holding soon on the side as a unlock over time? Did it say anything like that?
No, but like I didn't build this, right? Like this, every single token. Well, I don't know what happens behind the scenes at GFM, but like all the tokens that launch as a fair launch pre-sale and then choose to do the staking model go through the same process, and that is what we did. But I didn't actually like physically hit a button that said make this wallet or make this pool. It happens somehow behind the scenes in GFM. And I'm not coming at you saying this is a liquidity pool. This is a pool.
No,
I
I know.
just so you know, I might be using the wrong word when I say pool. Like maybe this is just a wallet. Like pool might not be the right word at all. You know.
Yeah, I'm looking at I mean, my whole thing from the beginning too is that like there's so few actual value moving through this. I keep seeing that there's a Meteora program that keeps coming up in here, or maybe that's just a similar looking logo. Let me look here. But yeah, what I'm really latching on to here, partially because I'm lazy, I don't want to once I get obsessed with this, I won't stop, so I'm trying to avoid it. But no, so there's a GF and what looks like a Meteora. But yeah, there's just so little volume, is my point, right? Like the volume going through this is on some days what you could call like truly negligible, right? Like the entire day is like 0.0001 SOL value, like $1 or something, maybe less.
Yeah. So let me read you from the GFM support chat I had with their engineers when I first launched. There's not much. It's like 2 sentences. But I asked about this wallet, and one of the members of the dev team said, these accounts store staked tokens managed by the GFM protocol. So maybe it's not, it's like a place where the stake tokens are stored, but there's something else that happens, right, that's governed by a smart contract, I guess, between this and other things.
Okay, I think I know a pertinent question. So we know that the main soon, actually this might crack the whole mystery. We know that the main soon pool is on Meteora, and question. Correct me if I'm wrong. Bet is better. It, meaning GFM was where it started, but a bonding curve passed and a Meteora liquidity pool was deployed. Correct?
I don't technically think it's a bonding curve because it was a pre-sale, but so
Okay, well,
yeah,
same
yeah,
difference. Like
yeah,
it was created, quote unquote, by GFM, and at some point at the end of a crowd fund, sorry to cut you off, I didn't mean to seem rude, but at the end of a crowd fund, money got deposited into the Meteora pool.
yes,
So you could then say that the entity known as GFM, quote, deployed the Meteora pool, correct?
yes,
So that, I think, then is where, and there's a tentative answer, but that is where the fees are coming from. Some part of the Meteora pool is where the fees that the people who stake soon on GFM get their rewards from, and that also probably explains why the SoulScan keeps showing Meteora's involvement in all of it.
yeah, and this is why, back to yesterday's conversation, when I looked at our pool of Meteora, I was very surprised to see a fixed 0.5% fee when we've been told all along that there's a 1% trading fee on GFM trades, and that's where this money's coming from that rewards the stakers. So I keep thinking there's some other fee that's being included in our trades that's outside of that 0.5. And that's why I'm saying I think we're leaving money on the table if we only stake through that Dexscreener Meteora user experience.
Repeat that last sentence.
I think there's some additional fee somewhere, somehow that's happening in our trades, and it's going to the people that stake in this wallet I shared with you. Those people that stake get some extra fee somehow. And when we looked yesterday at our ability to stake directly on Meteora, the fee was not dynamic. It was 0.5%. So I think there's some other fee that happens through our transactions that is potentially paying our stakers, and I want to see if we can recapture it.
Well, I mean, I think I can save you the headache of trying to figure out if you can recapture it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think the answer is probably no. The only way that would be possible is if when the contract was deployed on Solana, the deployer included, meaning GFM included, like a kill switch, like a turn off button, basically, to keep it simple. And then they would have, in theory, the private key to the address which deployed the contract, and then they could do it.
Yeah, and I do know them well enough that I could probably ask for a favor, although he's been ghosting me a lot lately because of reasons I won't get into. Just it's a whole thing. People that know GFM know. It's been a saga over there, so I wasn't on the team or anything, but I was helping them find new leadership, and he's just, the dev team's just been like completely non-communicative throughout the project, and that's actually the genesis of soon. They kept saying soon, and we kept waiting. That's actually our lore and our origin story. So, anyway, I do know the dev though, and I could probably ask him to maybe detach us from it or something. But again, I'm not even sure. Like, these guys told us the truth. So maybe this 1% fee thing doesn't exist. Maybe it was only 0.5. So what I'm thinking is, can we look at an actual trade and see, like, if I looked at a trade, maybe I have to look in SoulScan. Can I see its routes? Or do I just go to Phantom Wallet and like pretend I'm doing a trade and look at the advanced, details and see what would happen? Sam, are you trying to speak? You're unmuted.
Yeah, I was just going to say it's flipping interesting, and maybe they're, the other 0.5% somehow goes to them, which, like you've just said, we've been lied to the whole time.
Well, I don't think any reason to believe that, because what I'm saying is it would make perfect sense that on the Meteora front end, you see 0.5. And that's available, like that's the whatever, like fee that happens through Meteora. But then because GFM had to build a special thing that would also pay stakers, they like added some other fee that happens in some other protocol, smart contract thingy that then pays the stakers. Now, like, you could be 100% right, and maybe they are like earning money, stealing money or something through some of this, but I don't really see any reason to believe it. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying it could be very much legitimate. Like there's an extra fee on top of this 0.5 that's what pays the stakers. Cause you and I know the stakers get paid, Sam, and we know the rewards are pretty good. We've done it ourselves. Like it really works. There's good money to be made. So they're giving the money out. I mean, are they getting some of it somehow? I don't know. But like they're definitely giving money out in decent amounts. So that's why I think it's worth looking at like, if nothing else, I want to know. Look, I'm the dev of this token, right? Like I want to know exactly what's happening when someone executes a trade. And I don't worry that much. Like if 0.5% is going to the staking pool that only the riskiest bulls will tap into because they're like willing to take the chance and stake, I don't actually know how risky it is. Some people could take advantage of that. So the money's not disappearing. And if no one gets the money because no one wants to risk it, it's almost like lock supply, which is bullish anyway. So I don't know. I feel like there's not like a huge problem here. I just want to like know what's going on and see if maybe there's something we could do to take advantage of it.
So the way to figure out, well, there's a couple ways, right? I'm looking at SoulScan, and truth be told, right, like I just hate playing on-chain detective. It's fairly obvious to me that the fee does come from the Meteora pool. So here's what you can do. You just use it's what I call the grandpa's blockchain method. Next time you get some free time, just buy, I don't know, $10 in Soon, right? Just go to Jup, or in fact, even better, just go directly to Meteora, right? Just swap like $10 worth, like buy $10 worth of Soon or something. Now, as soon as you do that, right, you go to SoulScan, you look at the most recent transaction for that Meteora pool, right? You're going to see your transaction. You're going to see the $5 or whatever, $10 in Soul that you swapped for Soon. So not only are you going to be able to see what it says the fee rate is for Meteora, right? But the moment you make that transaction, you'll also be able to punch in the contract address on SoulScan for this staking pool. And you can see if anything was, quote, taken from the Meteora and put into the staking protocol, which I think it will be. And then you can see how much it was. So if it's set, then this is where it's easy. If you swap $10 worth and you see the staking protocol got 10 cents worth, okay, well now you know they got 1% of it. If it's 5 cents, you know they got 0.5%. It's 0.05%, and so on and so forth. It'll be really easy to reverse engineer the math by just looking at the most recent transaction, right? Which you could prompt whenever you felt like. That's kind of like the grandpa's way of doing it, which I prefer anyway.
Yeah, I guess I'm a grandpa. I was leaning that direction too. Like, do a transaction, look closely at it. So I'm going to do that now. The dev wallet will buy some soon. So feel free to front run me if you want. I'm going to buy like a whopping 0.1 Solana or something. But
keep it simple. If sorry to cut you off. If you do like exactly $10 worth, right? The math will just compute easy. It's better than $23.26, right? If that makes sense.
Well, it does, but because it's Solana, I thought it would be more of a constant to use Sol 0.1 or something exactly.
Oh, okay. No, you're right. That's clever. I like that.
All right, cool. So now, don't laugh at me, but can I even buy this directly on Meteora? Like how? I'm in the site. I don't know if I can. I've never bought a token directly.
Yeah. So No, it's a good question. So you just go to the main pool, right? So be it DAMMV1 or whatever, pull up.
Yeah, I'm in there actually. Yeah.
So there'll be a swap tab, right? From this to that.
Yeah.
And so,
Oh, okay. Got it. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. All right. So, all right, let me back up. I was in all these other pools. There's it. Search. So if you guys are all interested in this, you can all look at it yourself too. But DLMM, DAMMV2, dynamic is where I want to be. I can see my deposit earning some money. That's cool. Because I deposited into this pool. As a dev, I put some in just to kind of test the waters. Like I want people to know, if they can make some money by depositing double-sided liquidity into our LP and how much they'll make. So I decided to be the guinea pig. Let's see, swap. Okay, 0.1 Solana. We're going to buy some soon from the dev wallet, and we're going to do it. I'm just like reading the swap info in advance. So price impact 0.06, not too worried. Paid liquidity provider. Oh, there's what's paid to the liquidity provider. It's interesting to see that because you can see that, the liquidity provider is making some money. It's a small amount, but with my little transaction, my one transaction, the LP provider gets 0.0004. All right, let's swap it. Okay, your dev now has more soon. So we can go to SoulScan. I'm actually going to go to another laptop. Go in the other room for a minute with you people because I want to be on another laptop because I don't want my phone to cut out and lose the space, and because phones are not the best for this stuff. I find that like with this level of detail, sometimes you even need a little Excel or at least like a notepad or a Word doc or a piece of paper if that's your thing to really keep track. I don't know about you guys. Every time I go do some wallet tracking for any purpose, any reason, if I go have to chase something or look at something, I'm always like, I start down the rabbit hole and my brain can handle like 2 or 3 transfers, and then I get like, wait, where did I start? And then I start to have to write it down. So let me grab the laptop. Let's see. Sam, say bullish things. I need some help. I need some air cover.
I'm driving and it's quite noisy, but yeah, 2 secs. I'm just concentrating it around about. I will in a minute. 2 seconds.
Take your time. Take your time. Been a while since Sam said all the bullish things. Sam used to save me in spaces when there was dead time, and he would just say bullish things. Chill guy, it's good to see you, brother. I'm excited about your game. Feel free to jump on stage if you want, or you can just listen. But for those who don't know, Chill guy has stepped up to make a game for us. He's going to make like a cipher game where we can decode the cipher in the Telegram. And we've been working together on some artwork for it, and he's got some posts ready. And what did we decide? I think we said we'll launch that over the weekend. So it should be fun. I'm excited about it. I don't do a lot of gaming, but this I could definitely get down with, like the Dakota cipher in the Telegram kind of thing. I think that's cool. That should be fun. Let's see. All right, so I'm on my laptop. Let me go to SoulScan. We're going to find out what's going on under the hood. Frog, I appreciate your knowledge on this so much. But to be respectful of your time, is this okay? Like, are you cool with hanging around a little bit as we dig into this? Or do you have a
I
lot?
mean, I don't mind.
All right, cool. Appreciate that. Let's see. If anybody wants to come up, please feel free, but we won't distract too much from this conversation. So if you're going to come up to like do the thing where you praise the dev and you're like, I'm so bullish on Soon, and then you like shout out everybody in the audience, we're not going to do that because we're focused on LP right now and stuff. Real shit. But if anybody wants to come up as part of this conversation, I would love that. Let's see. All right, so 3 minutes ago, there's a transfer. It's worth $22.89. $sign vibes, you're back, but you better not ask me for a job this time. If you got some LP knowledge, though, we'll take it. All right, so I'm going to start by looking at this transaction. And I see actually, let me, just to be super safe, in case anyone's following along, I'm going to throw the TXID right up in the Jumbotron, just in case. All right, where are we here? Back to the phone. Okay. All right, so we're analyzing this transaction. So anybody who thinks it's fun to do this stuff or just is good at it, grab that and follow along. So the first thing I'm looking at is I'm looking at oh, Funky, welcome, bro. You might be good at this. Sorry to jump right down your throat. Good morning and all, although it's your lunchtime. We're actually digging into something really interesting. So for those who just joined, and you, Funky, especially, Funky's one of our alpha scouts. His giveaway's up in the Jumbotron. Make sure you guys smash it. Make sure you enter if you want free Soon. You do have to include a picture of token 2049 Singapore. I thought it'd be really interesting just to have like a specific focus on this giveaway. And I genuinely want to like know what happened over there. Maybe just because I'm obsessed with deving Soon, but I didn't see a lot of updates last year. Token, like, I don't know. There was a lot of interesting stuff that went down. A lot of it's like stupid, laughable, idiotic hype, but it still can be entertaining. Also can be good for engagement, right? Because like token 2049 is a big keyword nowadays. So if you guys don't mind, smash that, retweet it, comment on it, enter the contest, maybe win some Soon. We're giving away $100 worth. If one person enters, they got $100 in Soon. So far we got one entry or two, I think. Oh, the game, if you're listening, I saw yours, but I think it was in my noties. Make sure your entry is under Funky Beats' original post. It won't qualify if people enter under mine. So, make sure you do that. But shout out the game, by the way. He's getting a bounty just for being a Chad in the Telegram so much and smashing raids. We decided that earlier. There's our recap. All right, back to our focus now. We're looking at a specific transaction. The transaction ID is in the Jumbotron. I just opened SoulScan to look at it. And the deal here is that we have this staking option on GoFundMe, which is the launchpad we launched on. We can go there, we can stake Soon. You can get pretty good rewards. Sam and I know this platform well because we met each other as holders and users of it. And a lot of the Soon holders are people that also were part of that experience, which unfortunately led to the demise of the platform. Like, it's running, it's active, it's still being hosted actively on Google, but it's not really like, and Meteora offered to help pay some of the hosting and stuff, but it's just, there's no active team managing it. So we can stake on GoFundMe, but I don't tell people to because I can't in good conscience tell people to stake on a place where there's no active team. So anyway, there's this wallet that has 5% of our supply, which is involved in the staking of Soon. I know a lot of soon early buyers who staked their bags and just left them there. So some of that is people I could literally talk to. Like I know who they are. Some of it I don't know who they are. This money's sitting there and somehow when we make a trade, some portion of our trading fee is going to those people that have staked their soon. So as a dev, I feel it's very important for me to fully understand what fees are involved and where they're going. It might be the case that we can never recapture it. And I don't mind if it's like basically going to a place where it's kind of like a lock forever purgatory. That's okay. It's kind of bullish. It's kind of like burn out of every transaction. And like, it's not a huge amount, I think. But we want to figure that out. Like, I want all of us to transparently understand when you buy soon what's happening. And that's what we're doing now. So transaction IDs in the Jumbotron, just opened SolScan. We did a test transaction from the dev wallet, swapped 0.1 Sol to find out exactly where it's going. I talked long enough for smarter people to probably solve this problem by now. So if anyone did, just tell me. If not, I'm going to start looking. All right. So I start looking. I see. I see a transfer of 0.01 between two wallets at the top. Then I see a transfer to Meteora. It's very small.
Could I make a recommendation?
Yeah, absolutely.
So Soul Scan, by the way, is just garbage, just for whatever it's worth. But you see there's transaction actions, and then there's legacy and summary.
Yeah.
So they added a new feature, which is, I think it's kind of helpful. You see that view TX maps?
Yeah, I was just noticing that. Okay.
Yeah, open that up, and so it's not like figuring out this garbage became easier, but at least there's like lines that are showing you what is written next to it, which the writing part just looks, ugh.
No, but this is great, man. Oh man, I love flowcharts like this at work. This is like how I live. Actually, I kind of hate them. I have a love-hate relationship with these things, but that's another story. All right. Wow. So it's like a little spider web here. Don't go there. Frog, I shouldn't have said spider web. I'm sorry. Another time about that.
Topical.
Let's see. All right. I'm trying to figure out how to make heads or tails of this. I'm assuming it's in order, like top to bottom, or maybe it doesn't even matter. And it's a little hard to see. You kind of have to zoom in, zoom out. But basically, we can see that my soul is all, I guess, at the very top, you can see that the soul is, you know what I can do? Hold on. Let me I'll throw a screenshot of this in the comments too, just for everybody who's listening real quick. It'd be nice if just like Visio or some real flowchart tool, they had an export button and this thing would go to like a legit PDF. That would be cool. But I know, like it's Web3, I can only expect so much. But still, that would be cool. All right, let me go to our space. Can I paste here? Yes, I can. All right, so in the Jumbotron, you'll see what I'm looking at. Thank you so much, Frog. This is a great tool. So 0.1 goes to something at the top. And then I guess I can assume that, like, even though the arrows don't show it, oh wait, so 0.1 went in there. Oh, okay, I think I kind of get this. Oh, there's backwards arrows too, I see. Okay. Oh, interesting. Some of the arrows are backwards, so that's where the soon goes back. So, I guess it's kind of like, I'm thinking out loud, and we have to dig into each of these more closely maybe, but it sort of reads like, at the very top, we have a dev wallet that sent 0.1 SOL to 8B whatever that is. And then that 8B thingy distributes, this is where I feel like the arrows should be drawn different if I'm understanding this right. It goes from there to somewhere else. It's not like these are independently sent. Unless that 0.1, yeah, no, it can't be. Like our wallet is sending that 0.1 in its entirety to 8B79F, whatever. I want to open that. Will it open in a new tab? Please do. I forget the keystroke for a new tab.
One thing to point out, and again, Sol is a mess for this stuff, but actually the first thing that happens is it takes your Sol and it wraps it into wrapped Sol.
All right. So
that's you see the one at the top?
yeah.
8B79FU.
Yeah.
That's a wrapping of Sol, I guess. Wait, interacts so much.
Oh, you can click view details if you hover over it and click the little eye.
Wait, oh, where's that?
Right there on that view you showed me. If you click the little tiny information circle next, then it takes you to view details of that exact exchange, that transfer.
Okay.
So now we can see that one. Actually, it just takes you to the wallet, but yeah, it still helps.
The one I really don't understand is why is there a minting of Meteora Wrap Sol LP token? What the heck is that?
Would that be the token that comes back as a staked version?
Usually when there's a minting of an LP token, it's because you've deposited into a pool, not because you've swapped. Well, you didn't deposit, right? You swapped.
I definitely swapped, yeah.
Okay. I don't know why this would even be here. Like I said, bro, Sol is a mess. Like my taxes for Sol this year have just been like nothing but crying.
All right, so I'm welcoming you to the stage, Dave Scales, but make sure it's about this topic. Please don't interrupt if it's not. But I'd love your input if you know anything. All right, so I'm still looking at this first transaction. All I see is a transfer of, well, oh yeah, now I see that. Yeah, the wrap Sol. So yeah, okay. So you send Sol, it creates wrap Sol, and then the wrap Sol goes back to Meteora, so now it exists there. And then I guess that is when probably this bottom arrow happens. Like the bottom arrow is the return of the wrap Sol, maybe?
No, that's
oh no, that's the soon.
Correct.
Soon.
Yeah.
All
In
right.
fact, if you scroll to the bottom of the transaction actions,
yeah,
you'll see that directly after it mints the Meteora wrapped token, right? Meaning the minting of these LP tokens. The next thing it does is transfer them. Oh, excuse me, it transfers the soon to you, and then it burns those same LP tokens somehow. So I think we can just disregard the mint and the burn as some kind of like inner solution that Meteora utilizes during swaps. I think it's truly irrelevant. It's kind of the point. If I might here, so this is the way I would look at all this, because the real goose chase is not how does Meteora work. It's where did the money go, right? So we know that the majority of it, 0.09999 SOL, wrapped or not, right, went into the vault authority that then allowed for the soon vault authority, meaning it went into the wrapped SOL authority, which then gave permission to the soon vault authority to send you 245,000, right? So we know that 0.099
Right.
went to the purchasing as soon. So what we have left, right, because the 0.1 on top isn't even real. That's just a wrapping event. So we have two things unanswered. Number one is arrow number 2. Number 2 is arrow number 3. We can see that 0.000408, which I'm assuming is that 0.5% fee, right? That's what's being redistributed back into the pool. I think, don't quote me here, that this line number 3 is...
No, but it's not 0.5. Meteora seems wrong because it's 1, right? Like 8 plus 2 is a 1, which has to be a 1%, not a 0.5% of a 0.1, which is why I use 0.1 sol, so we can do that math easy.
But for the sake of argument, maybe I'm off my rocker here, but the fee displacement, the slippage that occurs. Oh, maybe I'm wrong. Let's save that for a second. We'll come back to that. So what we need to do though is we need to go to the contract address for the staking pool. Let me grab that again. And we need to see if there was even an event that transpired because of this, right? I can't see a new transaction that would indicate your swap did anything.
Yeah, and I wouldn't expect it to unless someone was... Oh, yeah. I wouldn't expect anyone to get the money, but somehow there's money going to pay the stakers somewhere, somehow.
There's not even a balance change for that staking contract on GFM. So the balance of Soon and Sol didn't change when you did your swap.
There's no guarantee that that's the only wallet involved in staking. Like, I can't guarantee that. So
that's true.
Right. So I think we got to maybe go back to the little diagram of transactions here.
But it is worth pointing out that wallet, meaning the contract address you linked me for GFM, that is the address that holds the Soon, right? So it would be logical to assume that is where it goes. Oh, I see what you say though, because another address could be the holder of the fees. This is why we don't play blockchain detective. Remember your hours, I can already tell.
Well, right. That's exactly my thinking. I know there are, and actually at one point when I had asked about these wallets, I had actually, there were a few wallets involved, and he said something about those are involved in staking. So now that I think about it, there were 3 wallets I thought were involved in staking through Detective 3 months ago. And 2 of them were tiny compared to the one I showed you. So now that I think about it, I bet 1 or 2 of those is the destination for the rewards.
You know, I'm going to say this before we go any further.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to say it as a statement. It's going to be a question. Have you asked ChatGPT-5 yet to do this?
Definitely not. And by that, do you mean so no, and what prompt would you suggest if you did that? We should do it.
I wouldn't know the exact prompt, but it's fairly good at this stuff already. So you could just be like, you could literally just tell it, like, I deployed a coin called Soon, which has this contract address through a platform known as G, blah, blah, blah. You just, like, tell it step by step what happened and include all the things, like TX IDs, right? And addresses and blah, blah, blah that go with it.
Mm.
And then tell it, like, this is the swap I just made. Could you please read Etherscan and tell me, or Solscan, and tell me how much of my 0.1 Sol ended up in the GFM reward, whatever, right?
Yeah. I mean I think I'll do that. I'll have a good conversation with ChatGPT about this. I think that's a good idea.
I make it do everything. ChatGPT, look at this mole. What do you think? Give me 5.
No, I know. Last time I talked to it about SoulScan, it actually wasn't that good at like interacting with it, but that might have been 4. It might have been a while, so I'll take a look for sure. Dave Scales, I know you came to the stage. Please, bro, you're going to keep us on topic, right? Or just, I don't know. Welcome to the stage. But I just want to make sure this is about what we're talking about here, because this is really important to me and to everybody that holds soon. It should be. Dave Scales, what's up, brother?
Hi, GM, guys. Soon is now. No, I was just here listening and I was like, okay, so there's some wallet stuff. I don't really know much about this. Well, I was enjoying the conversation and I heard that ChatGPT 5 could do something like this. So I'm learning.
Good, man. Good. Glad you're learning. All right. So the only thing I'm still like, yes, I want to talk to ChatGPT because yes, it's a rabbit hole. But what I'm staring at that's bothering me that like I feel like I just feel this like desperate need to solve is that Meteora has a 0.5% fee that they show on the liquidity pool. And somehow when I look at this, there's 1% fee happening. So like, I could imagine a situation where GFM adds a 1% fee over and above the 0.5 and it's not visible in the Meteora front end somehow. But then there would have to be a total of 1.5%. Like, how is it possible that we have these
Yeah, I
two?
don't think it's that. Sorry to interrupt. It's definitely not 1.5.
Well, that's the thing. Like these two arrows, like this tells the whole story, right? Like the entirety of this is 1% being used. So in theory, maybe 0.5% was Meteora and the other 0.5% was GFM somehow that we can't see on the Meteora side. But then why are these arrows 0.08 and 0.02 instead of 0.5 and 0.5? Like it just,
So one answer could be because if we continued to follow the rabbit hole, meaning if you opened up where the 0.408 went, you could then, upon going to that address, perhaps see that it then continued to chop it up even more and send it more places.
yeah, I get you. And I'm interested in looking at that now. I am going to look at that a little bit, but I won't make everybody sit through it. But again, I don't know. It just feels so weird to me because still it's an 8 and a 2. And like each of those would somehow be split in half perfectly to leave half of it for Meteor and half of it for the staking pool. But I guess maybe that's happening. It's just,
I mean, I'll tell you this much. If at the end of the day SolScan shows that only 1% total fees were used, then wherever they went, that has to be the cap number, right? Like it can't. If we got to the point where Frog said SolScan is lying,
yeah,
then everything would be moot. So
right.
it has to be whatever it chopped up, wherever it went, right? That has to be the end all be all.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I guess the biggest reassurance I'm getting out of this, which is great actually, is that we know our fee is 1% and no more. Like, because there are some tokens now that have like a 5 or 10% tax, which is horrible unless you just love it because you're benefiting on the tax. But I don't know, man, like I just can't even fathom a situation where, anybody, like who wants to pay 10% tax on anything? You know what I mean? Like it's crazy. So just knowing that 1% at the most is our fee and at least half of that is accessible through the Meteora liquidity pools that we can all deposit to already means that the absolute worst case in our tokenomics is that 0.5% is going to a place that we cannot recapture. And if we cannot recapture it, it's essentially the same as letting it be locked up forever, which is bullish anyway. And it's so small that I just don't care. So I guess I feel really good. Like even if I close this laptop and never looked at this again and don't waste my time with ChatGPT, I think I'm feeling really good about where we landed. And I think this helped me a lot because if I didn't see this, and thank you, Frog, for this suggestion. If I didn't see this, I'd sit here wondering and worrying, as maybe some others are, that like there's some fee, there's some GFM thing that's happening that we're worried about. because GFM might be scammers, but we don't give a fuck because we know that at most 0.5% is going to some place that disappears and it's basically deflationary, or it's extremely bullish for risk takers who want to stake there soon. And in either case, that's great for our project. If we have this like thing that bullish risk takers can do where they want to stake on the GFM platform that might shut down tomorrow, have fun. Or don't. And just know that like our tax is tiny and that just about every token you buy has a tax, and some of them are really big and you don't even know it. So I don't know. I feel good.
Let me ask, because I was wondering why we never brought this up. By the way, anyone just interrupt. I know I've done a lot of talking. This is Sam, Dave. You just interrupt me if you want. But like, who are the stakers, right? Like, wouldn't presumably the stakers in the GFM protocol be the soon community members anyway?
Yeah, they are. They're just not very active. Like I'm not going to tell you who they are, but I know who they are. Like I know there's at least 2 in my DMs, actually 3 in my DMs who 100% are like guys that drop like several soul on something and just don't look at it for a long time, like serious whales. And like they're all people that just told me they just staked it. Like, and I'll talk to them too, and I'll be like, hey man, like, you know, sometimes I'll send them a post or a video, whatever, but they all like run their own projects, and it's just this type of thing where like they're supportive, but they're just not going to show up all the time and put their face on this project, and it is what it is. But I appreciate their money, and they just kind of locked it up because they believe in me and they believe in this project, and they were involved in the GFM community.
Because I definitely don't, unless there's something I really am missing. I don't think the GFM guys would have the ability to just steal stakers' funds, right? Like even if their platform's disbanded, that's a contract thing, not a
Oh,
right.
sorry to laugh at that.
Well, that's why I said unless, like, are they known to steal funds out of
Well,
contracts?
there's been an issue, but yeah, I don't know. I don't really want to.
Well, I'll
Basically,
do it. I know
you
Sam's.
do it. You do
I know
it.
Sam's too nice, and I know. And the thing is, Sam, like, if you're gonna say that, we can't leave people hanging. So I will
No,
tell
I
everybody.
was gonna say it. I was gonna say it,
Oh, go
but
for it then.
no,
Go.
you're better at. You'll explain it with a, what's the word I'm looking for? A equal, balanced view, whereas I'm now, unfortunately, the other side of it now.
I'm not going to say any opinion. I'm just going to state facts. I don't really care about anyone hearing any facts. I'm just going to tell them all, and you guys can form an opinion. So the facts are this. The GFM team, one of the founders' name is Alejandro. The other 2 are WorkProb and FastX. Alejandro, at least, if not the others, I'm not sure, but the others, has a past that involves this NFT initiative that apparently some people say was a big scam or rug. I don't know for sure. Like I don't ever know. Like, you know, you guys know it's Web3. You never know for sure. But there was enough of a rumor about it that it got out. And when he launched GFM, I remember being early to GFM and seeing this stuff on Twitter. And then I saw him, you know, in a very, what I thought was very transparent and believable way, you know, explain that he feels like that project didn't go well. They wish it did. You know, they tried their best, and that he was hoping to repay, if possible, a lot of the people that got hurt, and that if GFM went as well as they hoped, he'd be able to do it. And, you know, some people think he's a total scammer. Some people think he's not. I don't know. Like, there are good people, there are bad people. He was very nice. He seemed very nice on all the videos and all this kind of stuff. Like, almost everybody in the space has some reputation of being good or bad, right? And it's unfortunately like the heavier hitters in this space all have some people who hate him and some who love him. So I'm not passing judgment. I don't really know for sure, but that was a rumor of his history. And I didn't discover that at the very beginning, but discovered it like pretty quickly. And a lot of us did. And, you know, I think a lot of people believed that he was telling the truth when he said that was, a failed project, and he was going to hopefully repay people. So, then project goes on for a while. Ellie has his first child right around that time. And I actually do remember like just meeting this team in the community at the beginning and thinking to myself, I got kids. I remember how hard that is. Like when you have your first kid, it changes your life. And when I had my first kid, I was already working full time and I was in school part time. Like at night, I would go to college, right? And so I knew I was already busy. I was like, how the fuck am I going to find time in my life? But everybody said, you'll find the time. And I did. Had a kid and still had to like do school and work. It was exhausting, but whatever. So raised a kid. So anyway, so I know like what that's like. It changes everything. So I remember thinking, this guy's going to have a kid and man, like, I don't know. Should I even invest in this? But I did. I don't know. Whatever. Brushed that off. There was a team around him. Anyway, so he has the kid and there's a ton of headwinds on this project because what this project did was completely disrupt Pump Fun. Pump Fun's moat was, very strong around its ability to be the only launchpad that mattered on Solana. And they were the, meme coin launchpad casino that everybody's playing with. And they made somewhere between 500 million to $1 billion in profit in 1 year. So the GFM team said, wait, fuck that. All those fees that Pump Fun is making money on, they could go back to users. If somebody built a platform that gave it all back. And so that was the vision. And they did it successfully. We were all making like money. We were loving it. Like projects were running at the beginning. It was a dope idea. They built the entire thing on a custom Orca protocol. The GFM protocol was built on Orca at the beginning. And this was great. Like we all loved it. But then, of course, what happens is, they disrupted things and others became fast followers with like other competitive launchpads that do other types of things like this. And then Pump Fun even had to pivot and launch this whole creator fee rewards thing because they're like, shit, they called us on like making all this money. We got to give some back. What do? We give it to creators. So that way, like, whatever. I won't get into this. But anyway, Pump Fun decides they're going to pivot. Believe Launchcoin gets a bunch of money from their like Pasternak VC thing. They come on the scene. Bonk, obviously, with Tom and Radium, like they come on the scene. So Radium was struggling when Pump left and made their own decks, but then, Radium got Bonk. So that like partnership blew up, right? Cause all that money could beat GFM. And so like GFM was the little guy always in this, like trying to fight against the behemoths. And I actually really respected and appreciated that sort of, that initiative, that fight. Everybody, I think a lot of people did. And I think you were one of them, Sam. Like we were all like rooting for the little guy here. And it was really nice because the ethos fit decentralization. It fit Web3 well, right? Like the small guy fighting the big guy. And also it was like the concept of decentralized ownership of a launchpad was new, right? It wasn't a company like Pump Fun and Alon making all this money. It was all of us being part owner, right? It was beautiful. And so we all loved the vision. We built a community. We had a lot of fun, launched some things. People launched things. I was never like a big like pump and dump dev guy. I had a couple of CTOs I was involved in, but like for me, I didn't get super involved in launches, but a lot of people are launching stuff and whatever. Anyway, all that happens. But then here's when things get a little ugly. So at one point, about, I don't know, 2-3 months ago, probably, 2 months ago, I think. Well, let me, there's two big things, I think. And Sam, jump in if I'm forgetting an important one. But I think the two big things are, there was, first of all, the platform struggled with volume. Like we couldn't get a lot of people to launch. Volume was a struggle. A couple things. The team fucked up in one way because the platform ran up to a market cap, the GFM token ran up to a market cap of about 120 million. And at the time, the team had a 30% treasury and they could have sold some fraction of that and made so much money, right? Like they literally, like think about it. 30% of that would have been $35 million. And so they could have sold 10%, and they would have been like $12 million. And that would have been enough to pay back the people that lost their NFT, whatever money in that other scam or whatever it was. And then also hire a bunch of developers and pay for hosting forever and all this type of shit. But they didn't. They didn't sell the treasury. And then it quickly dipped like a lot of coins do. And so then they didn't have the funding to go against these big guys. So anyway, what ends up happening is, Ellie steps down, the original founder. He decides, he slowly just stops engaging. Like, the team is not engaging with us. They're just not answering questions anymore. They're not delivering. They're shipping just enough to keep us feeling like they're there, like one website page after like 3 months of waiting. And they kept like promising stuff that just didn't quite deliver. And that's why we built Soon, because we kept hearing soon and then waiting and waiting and waiting, right? I won't waste my time, but like there's a fun post where they wrote Soon TM when we were asking for stuff, like trademark, because it came like their classic response was soon, and we would just wait and we'd wait. So that's why we launched Soon. But anyway, at this point, Ellie, the founder, steps down. He says that he's just got to focus on his baby, and that, GFM was a noble mission. We did our best, but we made one mistake. We should have sold the treasury. And he talks about how the VCs, and all the money that was involved in that, we just couldn't compete, couldn't keep up, couldn't get the launches. And so he writes a nice post about that, steps down, and that was the end of his tenure. I think, if I remember the order of operations right, like maybe a few weeks after that or sometime around that time, the Orca pools, I forgot something important. I told you that originally GFM launched all these things through a protocol they built on Orca. But because Meteora and Radium and these started to do like other types of protocols that would offer LP rewards, GFM decided to pivot away from the Orca protocol they had built, which was really hard to maintain and hard to get integrations and all this kind of stuff. They decided to pivot to use Meteoras. And they made some changes to the tech, and they they moved to that. But I think that was maybe like March, right? They launched like January, maybe March, April. They left all this old Orca stuff behind and started to use it. Everything started to migrate to Meteora. And fast forwarding to about July, all of a sudden, all the old stuff that had launched on Orca, all those LPs somehow are suddenly missing. And it turned out that, we wait a few days for an explanation because we heard soon and got nothing. And then a couple of days later, we finally get like Workprob, who's one of the developers, he's the back-end dev, to come into the Telegram and to say, a thorough explanation of what happened, that they had audits done by third parties, but there was a vulnerability. There was like so many lines of code in the Orca protocols. It was an insane mess. And maybe they somehow, it sounds like a bad actor exploited some vulnerability that the auditors didn't find in the code. And about $500,000 worth of LP was moved to a wallet. I haven't looked. That wallet might still have it. They might be on the Bahamas right now, Frog. But anyway, the point is that happened, and that hack, obviously, like, people always are going to go, immediately accuse the dev. That's your first reaction. I would too. I'm not going to vindicate them, but I'm not going to accuse them. Like, I don't know who did it. Obviously, it's reasonable to assume that the person that would be most well equipped to be able to do a hack like this would be the guy that built the protocol, that wrote the code. I mean, I'm not saying Workprob did it. I'm totally not saying that. But I know a lot of people say those things, and obviously I get it. Like, he could. If anybody could, he knows his way around the code, right? Like, that's just obvious. But that doesn't mean someone else didn't do it. I have no idea who did it. Obviously, people will point fingers at dev teams, and they have. But anyway, that hack happened. And then we decided, like, there was this conversation about whether the team should sell the remaining treasury to pay them all back. Personally, I didn't like that idea. I think like in crypto, we all take risks and it is what it is. And if you sold the treasury, you'd be killing the project anyway. And it wasn't even close to enough. Like the treasury would have amounted to like 25 grand or something at that point, or 20. And so people wanted to just like dump it and pay back whatever they could. And I'm like, well, how are you going to decide who to pay? Like that sounds just like a total mess. You got $500,000 worth of LP gone and somehow you're going to use 20K to make it good. It's just not going to work. So anyway, what we decided to do, I say we just because like the community was there and I was an affiliate at one point, so I got identified just to like help it with marketing. Me and like two other guys that just are bag workers. We just have always been grinders. I always have. So they were like, hey JD, like if you want to help, like, you can have delegate access to the Twitter. That was cool, whatever. So I did that for a while. We would just like post memes and basic shit just to keep the lights on, me and two other guys. But because of that, like, at the end, another thing I did. I hosted weekly spaces. A lot of you know this maybe, but I would host these Tuesday night spaces called GFM community spaces because for whatever reason, the team would never host spaces. And I just knew it would be good for us to have a place to talk. So I would host these spaces that range from 5 people to 100 people. And we would talk about the latest launches and I would just let the devs launching talk about their projects and just talk about GFM's latest updates. And, I would desperately beg their team to just occasionally show up and give us an update. So I was hosting those. So I just became like, a key piece of the community, which is just what happens to me when I hold a bag. So anyway, we end up getting toward this point where I'm still doing the spaces. The devs aren't engaged. There's been a hack and Ellie steps down. And so in one of my spaces, I basically just begged WorkProg to show up. He ignored me. And then I launched a meme coin that had a picture of it had a milk carton with a picture of WorkProg and it said missing, like something like, have you seen this dev? And I started to post that ticker and I knew I could get his attention then. And so when he saw his face on a milk carton that was tokenized, he suddenly showed up in the Telegram finally, and he came to my space, and he spent an hour with us, and we talked a lot, and he was really cool. Like for those who are in the space, I think you appreciated hearing from him. He laid it all on the line. He told us, basically the story I just told, and more about his own personal life. But he agreed in that space to let us try to find new leadership. Like there was a lot of people that loved this concept and loved this platform, me and Sam being two of them. And we just wanted it to succeed, like this concept that all the fees go back to the people. 100% of the fees go into the people, not to the fucking profiteers. It was beautiful. We wanted it to win. So we're like, let's find somebody else who can do this. Someone with the real capital and connections. And, GFM had some heavy KOLs pushing it. Like Solstice was really pushing it. Digi was pushing it. Like a lot of people really pushing it. So it still had a lot of, gold check, 35,000 followers, like potential to really run if we found the right leader. So we went on like a 2-week search committee kind of thing where we looked for leadership. People could DM me. It was crazy how that happened actually. From the GFM account, we made a post saying we're searching for new leadership. And then we said to DM us if you're interested or comment below if you know someone. And then immediately after we posted it, we realized that the GFM DMs were shut off. No one could DM GFM. And Ellie had the keys to that as an admin. So even though as a delegate, I couldn't get any DMs from anybody. So we panicked and quickly edited the post to put my fucking username in. So we just had to fix the problem. I was like, fuck it, you can use mine. So then it became, if you want to buy GFM, DM JD. Why? It's ridiculous, right? Like JD is not the owner of GFM. JD is just a dude who helped out, bag worker. But anyway, that's what happens. I end up, the guy that they have to contact if they want to buy GFM or to take it over. And, I, led a round of interviews and conversations and all kinds of stuff to just, try to move it forward. We had interest from guys with 500,000 followers. We had interest in guys with, big followings, big money, F&F groups, like connected people. And we had a lot of meetings. But nothing like officially got to the point where it was going to seal the deal. Work prob was continuing to be elusive. Like I'd get his attention every couple days, never launched any more milk carton tickers. But bottom line is, he's not been super responsive, as the whole team really wasn't. And that's why we got soon, because we kept hearing it and never got what we wanted.
You see, I'm just glad that nowadays when this kind of stuff goes down, the first thing that happens is Polymarket opens a bet, and then you can bet on it. Like, not that this is the same vein, but you remember the Haktoa token?
Yeah, of course.
So as soon as they let's just say as soon as the price went down, to keep it simple, one of the Polymarket had a bet, and I can't remember his handle, it was like the second in command of that project, will this guy delete his Twitter? And it was like 97% yes. I'm like, yes, they never delete their Twitter. That would be admitting responsibility. They just sort of don't answer you. So, but that was a wild story, bro. That was some shit.
Yeah, it's wild. It's it was crazy, man. It was, but it was fun. Like it brought a lot of us together, so that was cool. Like, I was happy to meet Sam there, for example, and a few other people that are still in the Soon community, and just, all these things are experiences. You meet people, you move on. So that's the way I see it,
Thanks. I've just been crying into my pillow for the whole experience. Still a bit traumatic.
First
Yeah.
time.
Well, first time of round tripping a fat bag, yeah.
No fun.
Yeah, it's the worst. That hurt. It hurts every time. It hurts.
Yeah. Doesn't get easy. I mean, it does get easier, to be fair. Like, I definitely was more devastated the first time that happened to me. That eventually, if you stay in this game long enough, and you don't stay forever if you're not somewhat successful. Like, if you don't see successes, or at least break even or something, I think. But, it's, you eventually do get to a point where you just expect that, like, part of your journey, especially if you trade meme coins or, spend time on Solana, like part of your journey will be big L's and part of it will be big W's, and you just got to find the balance and just take it on the chin eventually.
Can
And
I
laugh
bring
at
us
it.
back to the free money?
Please.
Okay.
Yeah. So actually, let's put it back in the title, because Funky, we started this, if you're listening, we started this, space with the title of Coffee, Crypto, Something, Free Money. And the reason for that is two things. We got your giveaway, which we put in the Jumbotron, but also there's free money all over Web3. In the space, we just started to talk about that, like airdrops and farming and all that stuff. And I was like, I bet our alpha scouts each have like one thing already right in their head that's like, oh, you can get free money here. Go do it. But anyway, Frog, what you got? Tell us about the free
Can you hear me
money.
now?
Yep.
Okay, sweet. So I'm gonna preface that it's not actually free. I mean, it could be free, but it's not actually free. But it's basically free. If you've ever bought anything in crypto, the investment level here is free. let's put it. You know how degens be like? You've seen the meme where it's like spending $100 on groceries and it's like crying, and spending 1,000 on meme coins. It's like nothing. So, okay. I'm trying to think of how to build this up, because it is kind of just a shill. So, I'll just tell you a story, and then the point of the story is I hope we can replicate this. I mean, I'm going to try, but y'all should too. So, when Gods Unchained was getting really popular, I made this Discord group called the Stone Skin Poison Club, right? Now, Stone Skin Poison was a card. We're not talking JPEGs here, right? We're talking like Magic the Gathering. right? Except for Web3. Now, if you wanted to play Deception, which was one of the classes, right? Instead of like Mage, Knight, Warrior, Barbarian, you got whatever their version was, right? Paladin, Druid, blah, 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 blah. If you wanted to play Deception decks, you needed Stoneskin Poison. Like, it was not an option in the deck. There was no better card to run than that card. And that was a common card, right? Like, it wasn't like some legendary mythic 101 NFT that you have to degenerately gamble. It was a common card. It's like very common. So probably around, when we started doing our thing, it was probably like 4 cents, right? And there's no gas on this layer too. So 4 cents with no gas is pretty small. And you just treat it like an NFT floor, right? Like, sweep the floor of this worthless JPEG project. It's a good strategy if the project goes up, but like most digital stuff, real stuff, digital stuff, it all ends up in the same place. The landfill, the garage sale, or grandma's attic, right? So like, this strategy is not great for just random NFT projects, but when you're like, oh, Stoneskin Poison's like an integral part of a Deception deck, it's just not an option, right? You say, well, okay, the floor is 4 cents. Let's bring it up to 10. It's not that hard. How much do we have to spend to do that? $55, and there's 10 of us, so we all throw down $5.50. Like, just kind of buy one after the other. Floor is up to 10 cents now, right? Okay, and every time someone puts a Stoneskin Poison below 10, we'll just buy it up, right? So there's like roughly 25,000 players. Every player in theory wants to have at least one Deception deck. You need 2 Stoneskin Poisons to a deck, and there's only 100,000 of them. So, pretty easy. Now, might I add that 6 cents to $6 is still 100x, right? Most people think of 100x as like putting 1,000 in and walking away with a million, but actually no. 6 cents to $6 is like it's 100x, right? There was another card that came out later in the sets called Ember Oni. It was just criminally undervalued. It was not a deck specific card. Meaning it's not like for a class. It's not like for mages or druids or whatever. It's like every deck can use this card. We called it the poor man's Demogorgon, but context aside, right? It's like 25 cents. It was like criminally undervalued. It's like the dumbest price ever for that card. Just straight dumb. I think the card, even with Gods Unchained, like suffering, is still like 95 cents today. So, like a 3x is a 3x. So what's my point? Same company that made Gods Unchained, making a new card game, actually paired with Ubi. You've heard my rambles about Might and Magic Fates before, undoubtedly. And if you haven't in the room, the short version is a new trading card game by a real video game company, working with the only company in Web3 that's ever made a good trading card game, with the exception of Splinterlands, right? Which, whole other thing. So methinks maybe, like, the moment we can identify which cards are integral and criminally undervalued, we just sort of hoover them up, or just do it with Pokemon in real life and go sell on eBay, because that's way easier. It's not. It's not.
Yeah, I know.
It's not.
I know. I actually have a cousin he keeps telling me he has this business that he started, like used office furniture, and he's like, gets fridges and stuff, and he's like, you could sell them on eBay. And I'm like, yeah. And like, I keep talking about it, but he kind of just doesn't show up, to be honest. Like, he's the type of dude that like says it and it's hard to get in touch or whatever. But I keep thinking to myself, like, I can make money in this, but like, I'm going to have a house full of refrigerators and have to ship them to people. Like, this sounds horrible. But anyway, back to your point. Yeah, I think this would be a great idea. Where I feel like unqualified is I don't know shit about trading card games. So I don't have the ability to know anything about like why would this be the card that's criminally undervalued?
So,
Because
so
like half of the things you said are words I don't even know because I just don't know the gaming space.
So the greatest part about, great point, right? Great point. So here's a way to think about it. If you have 100 people in a Discord group and only 2 of them play the game, the entire group knows exactly which cards to cabal.
Oh, you mean like you're saying if I have my own Discord group, somebody's going to know and I can just talk to friends. Is that what you mean? Or do you mean you go to the Discord for each game and you like see what they talk about?
So I was too cryptic, right? So it's like, just because there's a Discord group whose whole function is to sweep the floor of specific cards, right?
Mm-hmm.
That group not need be made up of people who play the game, right? It just needs to know as a group which cards are actually good. So like a one way to think about it, this is a bit esoteric, but I think it's relevant. When I was playing Gods Unchained, right, I had a Web3 buddy who I did a totally different thing with, right? We're linked through completely different channels. He doesn't play games. But he has a friend that he manages crypto assets for. And that friend bought like $75,000 worth of the trading cards in the game that I was playing. But the guy who bought them doesn't play the game. Right? Because like he just knew, oh, these cards will go up. And he wasn't even like trying to cabal specific cards. He was just like, oh yeah, I can throw 10 ETH at, a gorillion packs, right? By the end of like a year and a half, his collection was like millions of dollars. Today it's probably tens of thousands, but yeah, but so what I'm saying is, as long as some people in that group are just like, okay, this is the card we want, this is the price we want to keep it at, right? So anybody who sees it go under this, just sweep a couple up because they're only like 9 cents, right? But we think that there'll be a couple bucks one day.
Yeah, totally makes sense. 100%, man. Yes, and yes. And that's where these groups can become valuable. You have people that help each other in different ways. Some might come with the money. Some might come with the, like, I've seen a lot of people are introverts who are really good at this stuff. Like you come talk on stage too, right? Which is amazing. But like, there are so many people that just don't come on stage. And then occasionally I've known them for a while through communities I'm in or whatever. And then you like end up in a one-on-one call and you like become friends, but like they'll never go on stage, or some of them will never talk out loud. Maybe it's a language barrier. Some people are self-conscious about that. So all I'm trying to say is, you could have that person who's like the knowledge broker, but they need the other people to go tell people. And, then they need the other guy that has the money, and, they need the people that know how to run the Discord, et cetera, et cetera. So I love that stuff. For me, like, it reminds me of Soon a little bit. Cause like, it's funny. So Sam, you've been talking about Moby quite a bit, and I literally never use Moby. I know of Moby, like I've heard of Moby, obviously, but when I hear people say like, check this out or whatever, and now the Alpha Scouts are bringing Alpha into the Alpha Scout conversation, um, it's crazy because I've always been like a person that's really eager to explore new things and learn about new projects, and I love like so many different areas of crypto, and I even enjoy games. Like at the beginning of the space before you joined Frog, I was talking about my experiences with Sidus Heroes and gaming, Game In, which doesn't have a G at the end, and stuff like that. So it's not like I don't ever play crypto games, but anyway, for Soon, I just my whole life has pivoted to focusing on like managing Soon. So like the Alpha Scouts are going to be the experts, and I see it now as like my job to not worry about the projects themselves and just like worry about the Soon project and like help make sure the Alpha Scouts have what they need to do great work, like independently and with each other. Like, so Funky, if you're listening, for example, I know you're an Alpha Scout. We talk obviously in the Alpha Scout chat, but like, I'm not going to have time, nor should, like, I think if I asked for this room to vote, right? Do you want me to spend my time, like, looking closely at Funky's alpha so that I can help him figure out if it's good and like write the post, or should like he and Arya and everybody else like do that together with each other while I manage the project and the business? I think the obvious answer is I manage the business. So I'm just rambling to say I'm removing myself from obsessing over the tech. I'm excited to hear about it once a week in our space and like learn and explore and understand what's going on. But I'm going to like not pay as close attention to the crypto scene, ironically, right now, because I have a business to manage, and that I think is more important to all of us. So I'm not going to go look for these cards, and I'm not going to go try to understand what game you're talking about, Frog, because I know my time's just better used to manage soon and put awesome people in good places to like deliver the alpha on the things that you guys are talking about. And then I'll just hear about it once a week, right? Like I'll see it on the soon timeline, and I will, for the foreseeable future, be involved in like crafting the posts just because I want like consistent tone and voice coming from the soon posts. I'll still do all the leading of the creative direction, stuff like that. I'm like very involved in, my sleeves are rolled up, right? It's just like different things and deciding where to prioritize my time. Dave Scales, what's up, bro?
Yo, I've been hearing a lot, and I'm amazed. So I would like to ask, how did you get so vast with liquidity pools and launches? Because I know you know a lot.
I don't know nearly as much as Frog does. Frog is probably one of the smartest people when it comes to liquidity pools that I've ever talked to. So seriously, Frog, I appreciate you for that, and I give you that kind of clout. But man, there are a few others I've learned from for sure about liquidity pools, and actually GFM was part of it. I think Sam and I could both attest to the fact that like when you enter a project where the premise is to break a sort of like Pump Fund was behind the curtain, right? They were keeping the fees and no one even knew it. Like no one was going to Pump Fund and be like, ooh, where's my trading fee going? Like some people were, right? But most people were just like seeing colors and pictures flashing so fucking fast that they had to buy it. And, it was, it was a casino. It was making a lot of money, but just like a real casino, you don't go in and like know how much of that quarter in the slot machine goes to pay the bartender. All you know is maybe you'll win, maybe you'll lose. And you accept that. So when GFM happened, all of us were like, wait, where are these fees? What are these fees? Where did they come from? And we started to learn. And like, so for me, that was probably the beginning of my journey in terms of like trying to care more about accessing, LP fees and understanding liquidity pools because it became so important. And then the other thing is like, if you don't understand liquidity, you can get really fucked in your trades. So like we're talking at a very detailed level right now about like LPing and like how to get rewards, everything, but just zoom out and give like the relatively like normie or newbie trader enough to know about liquidity. It's almost like we've like 6 months ago, this would have been the talk track about LPs. It would have been the following. When you look for a project to invest in, you should be conscious of its liquidity pool. And there are a couple things you should look for. If it's on Solana in particular, well, I guess in any event, look to see if that liquidity is locked or permanently locked or burned or locked for a time period. Like what is the chance that liquidity pool could just suddenly disappear? You got to know that. You should protect yourself. But then why does it even matter? Well, there's some tokens have so much volume of buying and selling that you don't really have to like worry that you might not be able to sell your bag because someone's going to buy it from you. And that's like often that's how like TradFi works. Like these markets, like there are so many people buying and selling stocks that like you could pretty much always put yours up for sale and you'll get your money at the market rate tomorrow. But in crypto, it's not always that much volume, especially for smaller market cap tokens. So the liquidity pool serves an important purpose, which is basically a place where you know that you'll be able to buy the token and then sell it back. So if there's a liquidity pool, it doesn't matter if some other person on the other end wants to buy your soon, because you'll always be able to sell it into our liquidity pool, and that pool will give you back Solana. And so that liquidity pool gives you that assurance that you'll be able to sell your soon tomorrow if you want to. But that's not guaranteed depending on the size of the liquidity pool. So if a liquidity pool is $2,000, I like to use a simple example. If a liquidity pool is $10, if a market cap is $10 and a liquidity pool is $1, and then like you wake up tomorrow and half the people sold, or like some people sold, right? A person sold. That dollar from that liquidity pool might be gone because they turned their tokens in. Liquidity pool gave them $1. Now there's like 90% remaining of holders that are just stuck holding a bag they can't sell, right? Because there were $10 worth of people that bought it, holding it, and then there was $1 in the liquidity pool. Somebody sold, got that money. Now there's some number of people, whatever, like $8 worth of people or something, that cannot sell their token. And so for that reason, like when you buy a token, you got to know that there's a sufficient liquidity pool so you can go to sleep in your bag and know that you're going to wake up tomorrow and at least be able to sell it if you want to for any reason. The other thing liquidity pools do is they prevent extreme volatility. So if you're buying a token that has a tiny liquidity pool, you'll see the price quickly spike. If you're selling a tiny liquidity pool, you'll see the price quickly drop. So again, you want to sleep in your bag. You want something that's secure and growing long term. You need sufficient liquidity so that people can buy and sell without the price just going crazy high or crazy low and then causing like a major sell off, because that's what happens with a falling knife or a giant green candle. Frog, did I do that justice, or is there anything you would change or add?
I mean, you're not wrong about pools needing liquidity in them, right? I mean, that is a thing, right? So people like, they don't, I mean, nowadays we have Dex tools and GMGN and even Phantom Wallet, like they will just flag tokens, that would be of the insidious kind of nature we were talking about, where there is no actual money. So, right, like the dev owns 90%, you throw 10 SOL at it, that's the only 10 SOL in the liquidity pool. The dev dumps 90% on your 10 SOL. The coin goes to zero, the dev runs away, and you get, I don't know, 0.01 SOL back, right? Like, but that stuff now, like is avoided with Dex tools, and every, like you were saying, every pump fund coin has this like formula where the only money in it is money that went into it from randos buying it, pending bundles and scams and all that. But yeah, you did it. That was fine.
Cool, man. Yeah. So essentially liquidity pools prevent too much volatility and make sure that you'll have the ability to sell your bag. With Soon, you will pretty much always be able to sell your bag if you ever wanted to and not worry about that, because our liquidity pool is nearly our market cap and it will continue to grow over time. So like the ratio is really good. Like we're going to end up being one of those, how like, for example, like Michi is just an example of a token. I'll look now, but it has like some crazy amount of liquidity that's like so attractive, right? So Michi has $3 million, $2.8 million of locked liquidity. That's kind of insane, right? Like it's a ton of money that's locked in a liquidity pool. And so for that reason, like, no offense to people that love Michi, but it's a fucking picture of a cat that like changes clothes all the time. Like I don't actually find this to be that interesting, but the liquidity pool is interesting as hell to me. So like the fact that it has a $3 million liquidity pool makes me feel like, why not hold some Michi? Because like that's going to appeal to people that come into this space and just start looking at Solana and they're looking for tokens that they should buy. And those people are probably not even paying attention to pictures of cats, might not be on CT, but they will be like telling their, trader people, like I'm thinking about institutional investors who are like, what's in this meme coin space, right? And they like say to their assistant person, like, hey, go find me the stuff with like fat liquidity. I don't want risky meme coin casino. I want to sleep in my bag, but I want to make some money in this meme. I want skin in the game. Like the first thing they're going to look for is some coin that has tons of liquidity. So I'm not saying we're Michi. Who knows? Maybe we will be. Maybe we'll be bigger. But it's just a totally different type of project. But those types of things are really appealing. And like, I look at, for example, BTW, right? A lot of you guys know that the reason the banana is taped to my PFP is because I had great experiences with banana tape wall. And banana tape wall, like, no, I can tell you right now, nobody's running the project. Like, I'm in the admin team. Like, there's literally nobody doing anything. Like, we have not done anything. Like, anything that happened in this project, I was part of it or aware of it. And I've taped a couple bananas in the past few months. I've done a couple of posts from the main account. Maybe Topher, a couple others have, like, TG, Golem Army. He probably taped a few bananas. He's kind of crazy, still tapes them sometimes. But like, there's nobody running the project. The Telegram's hardly ever moderated. We did an amazing job in that fucking Telegram. It's fire. But it's just sitting there by itself. And every single day there are like new joiners joining the Telegram. There are people buying the token. I mean, like, it pumped a little bit the past couple days, and it's at 142,000 market cap with 154,000 of locked liquidity. And so, yeah, the meme is fire, and yeah, the project's fire. And to be honest, I wish it would come back. I just don't have the time to do it, but it has more liquidity locked than it does market cap. So I feel like it's just a token that like people won't give up on for that reason. And so liquidity matters so much, you know?
JD, I've got to tell you, because I don't know if I'm sure you would have used this as an example if you knew. Look at the ticker PAIN, look at the market cap, and look at the liquidity. It's fucking insane.
PAIN, PAIN. Oh, wow. Yeah, 5 million. Oh, but it's not locked.
Oh, I thought I read that
Maybe,
it was locked.
I'm sorry. Dexscreener doesn't show the lock symbol. That doesn't mean that much. Everybody should be aware of that. It could be false positive or a false negative. So go ahead, Sam.
I mean, I saw it launch, and obviously I didn't buy it, but I'm sure I remember when it launched something about the liquidity being locked. I also remember the guy was sent 50% or something stupid like that he had locked for 5 years or something crazy. But yeah, I never bought it. But again, what you're saying, as a token, it looks pretty attractive.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take a look at that. If it's really 5 million locked, I mean, back to my theory on Michi, I don't know. I'd be shocked if something like that doesn't run in the bull. What do you think, Dave Scales or anybody else?
Yeah, I don't know, but I feel like that would definitely run because, as you explained, there is where people could always buy and sell. Like, it's an automated system already with 5 million lock-in. But my other question was to go like this: how important is liquidity to like devs and on our projects?
Well, I mean, I think it's extremely important. As a dev, one of my jobs is to make sure that I have a product that is my only job is to make sure that I deliver a product that's appealing and worth buying. Like, that's the only reason to exist, I guess, right? And I'm not saying it's all about the money. Like, our product is the value we deliver to the timeline through the alpha scouts. Like, we're creating real value, right? And so for my job is to create value, but my job is to make sure that value is priced and packaged properly so that people will want to buy it. And Liquidity Pool is part of that pricing and package recipe. So like, I'm a marketer by trade, right? I've studied marketing. I've been marketing forever. And there's product packaging, placement. It's called the 4 Ps or some shit like that. But like, you really gotta think about like pricing and packaging your product. And so if you're selling razors at, the supermarket, then pricing and packaging is a price tag that's $3.99 and maybe a coupon discount thing and like a pretty picture of a man shaving his face. So the Gillette logo that everybody's seen on TV. Like that's, but here it's, there's something more to it, which is resale value, because this is trading. So I have to think about the value of what I'm offering someone isn't just the razor in the package. It's their ability to execute trades long term and liquidity is huge and hugely important to that. So it's very important. If you're a good dev that's like here for the long term and cares about their holders, which most devs aren't, because that's just the truth. Like, it's just pure numbers. I'm not pointing fingers. Like 99% of tokens are pump and dumps. So most devs are not here for you. That's just a fact.
So how can liquidity affect the dev in like a negative way?
Yeah. Oh, okay. So do you mean like the dev financially? Is that more your question? Like, can liquidity like cost me money or give me money? Is that actually what you
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, negatively, like make him lose money on his own project.
So yeah, I mean, definitely. Like, but I'm lucky. So some devs actually would populate their own liquidity pools somehow. Not always, right? Like on Pump Fund, you don't have to do that because like Pump Fund automatically populates your liquidity pool if you bond, and like it happens through the system somehow, and you don't have to pay a ton of money to populate it up front. But sometimes if you launch directly on like Meteora or something, like you have to populate your liquidity pool somehow. Somebody has to add liquidity. And then even if you launch on Pump Fund, you launch with a relatively small liquidity pool. So you might still have to like add liquidity. Or let's say we're only talking Solana. I don't know why. Let's say you're on Sui, like whatever. You have to add liquidity. And some projects are getting to a point on some chains where there's just not enough liquidity. So you got to add it. And that costs you real money, right? So, in our case, I got really lucky because in other words, if you add your own money, then yeah, there's a very real risk. Like your project could go to zero and then you just lost your money. Like you might have locked your liquidity pool for the purposes of being bullish or whatever, and then you can't get it back. Now, there are situations where it's not locked, right? And then you can withdraw your liquidity and then you're okay. I'm not a liquidity pool expert. Frog could jump in if he wants, but there are like ways to lose money in your liquidity pool. There's impermanent loss and there are risks and stuff like that. But I think back to your main question, at least about soon anyway, we have gone through a pre-sale. So all the people that bought the pre-sale helped to fund our liquidity pool. Some of them are still holding, some are not. But that money wasn't mine. I didn't have to spend it. So we're really lucky. I mean, I bought some of the tokens, right? But as part of the pre-sale, but most of it came from an assortment of people who either hold or sold. And now that liquidity pool is locked with us forever and will just continue to grow. So this project is just very, very well positioned financially. And we're all really lucky because of that. So there's no risk
Wow.
for me. There's no risk for me in my case.
Oh, okay, that's nice. So, but for someone that launched on like Radium and the rest, there can't be a risk, right, on Orca.
Yeah, I mean, there can a risk or a reward, right? Like if, you can earn fees in your liquidity pool and make a lot of money, but on the other hand, there are ways that things won't go so well and then you won't make a lot of money. But that's where like, I'm not an expert in this part of it. And, I'm not going to keep asking Frog to teach us everything all day. He's probably a guy that could answer the question, but we'll wrap this space up soon. I think it's just, there are, when you add to liquidity pools, you should be careful. You should, consult someone you trust or read about it or really get to know what you're doing because you can make mistakes. So, just like buying a meme coin or whatever, don't invest what you're not willing to lose. But I think if you arm yourself with enough knowledge about liquidity pools, you probably can make safer investments than like buying a meme coin because you'll have you can look at the volume of a token and very reasonably predict that Michi and Payne are going to keep having volume, right? Like just for example. So, when you find the right tokens that have high volume, you can probably create pools or add to pools in a way that it's kind of safe and kind of conservative, but still earns you some passive income. But again, it's all about like knowing it well enough. And I'm not an expert. I appreciate that you sort of think of me that way, but I'm truly not a real liquidity pool expert. There are people way smarter than me. Riz,
All
well,
right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that education. And I'm still on the alpha stuffs. I'm still in your DMs, just so you know.
All right, man. I will definitely take a look at that. I got a lot to go through, but I'll take a look at that for sure. Riz, welcome to the stage, and good to have you. We're going to wrap in a few minutes, but how are you today? Riz, welcome to the stage. How are you today? You at the bank? I'd assume you just can't talk, but you requested a mic, so I'm guessing you were gonna. Riz is here often, so I know he's not engagement farming or anything. Maybe he's just got real mic issues. All right, Riz, good to see you. Would love to talk to you, but I think we're going to wrap it here. Anybody have anything else? All right, so Chill Guy, I'm very excited about your game. Guys, pay attention to the Telegram. We'll also post on X about it, but it should be fun. Like, even if you're not a person that loves to spend time in the Telegram, I'd encourage you to check this out. We'll put some kind of prize to it, but also it'll be fun, right? Like this idea of like decoding a special phrase that has to do with the Soon project, I think is a really interesting game to play. I'm excited to get my like cipher decoding skills ready. I don't even know what that looks like, but Chill Guy is pretty excited about this, and I know he's got experience in it. So we're going to see what he pulls together for us. So get ready for some fun game in the Telegram. If you didn't already, please smash the giveaway post that's in the Jumbotron if that's your thing. If you're a person that just absolutely hates social media engagement, I respect you and I love you anyway. But if you go to the top of the Jumbotron, you scroll over a little bit, you'll see all the way on the right, the first one I posted today is the giveaway, and it is very important because actually it's so important that I'm going to remove everything else just to make sure everybody has their undivided attention on it. If you want to go back and wallet chase and stuff, you can go back to the recording and see the earlier pinned posts. But right there, smack dab on the Jumbotron, is $100 of Soon that we're giving away. So engage with that, please. And I wish you all luck. I hope you win something. So far, we only had a couple entries. I think last I checked, it was only 2. So, I mean, if we really only get 2 total, I don't know where the games went, but I know he put one in. If we really only get 2 total, each person gets $50. So that's pretty sweet. I'd encourage you guys to consider applying or entering. And by the way, you don't have to have gone to Singapore. Like, anybody can find any picture of Token 2049. The point is just to like give ourselves a little taste of the event. So if you want to copy a picture you found someone else's feed, or even include a post to someone else's post about Token 2049, that's cool too. But that's it. So let's wrap the space now. Riz, one more time if you want to unmic, but earlier I asked and it sounded like you couldn't talk or something.
Hey yo, JD, GM, it's the Coffee and Crypto Show with the Soon community, you know. I'm just here to come and show some love and support. So, yeah, what's cooking? I couldn't be here earlier, but I just got back home and I was going through my field and I saw you guys, the community is having a space. So I decided to come and show some love and support. I can see Frog, Sam, yeah.
Yeah, man. It's been a good space. As you say, Sam and Frog have become regulars on the stage. So, Dave Scales jumped up today. So yeah, I mean, it's, we're starting to see some of the same faces pop in, which is great because I really enjoy these conversations and I love feedback. If you guys, I truly love feedback from anybody. So if you guys are ever like, the spaces are good, but they're too long, or the spaces are good, but I'd like this, or, JD, you ramble too much. I take it. Like I do sometimes. So get like any of that feedback is great. I welcome it. But I think we're doing a pretty good job with these. Like every day we open them. We don't know what we're going to talk about. Today we started talking about free money, crypto games, airdrops, stuff like that. Then we got into like some LP conversations, making sure that our fees are, not insane, that they're reasonable and they're going to good places, that we can, tap into liquidity pool fees. And we got to a good place on that. I'm just going to wrap up here with like a summary. But yeah, on that one, I'll do a little closer digging, mostly just because of my own curiosity. But we've gotten to a point where we understand this. If you want to earn a little bit more from your soon bag, you can add to the liquidity pool on Meteora directly. Very easy. You go to Dexscreener, right on our listing, there's a button that says claim. And if you hit claim, it'll take you to Meteora, right to the pool. Very easy. You just deposit the equal amount of Soon and Solana into the pool. And then anytime you want, you can just go back and withdraw that, and you'll have everything you started with, but more because of the fees that were generated. So that's the way that you can earn passive income. I am not giving investment advice. This is not financial advice. This is just an option for you to consider. Then outside of that, we also explored what else might be happening, because we know within that pool, there's a 0.5% fee that's disclosed by Meteora. And technically, when we look closely at our soul scan, it looks like maybe there's a 1% total set of fees. And this is all something I want to look closer at. But it looks like 0.5% is going to the GFM stakers. Those are people who stake Soon on the GFM platform. And that's a platform that's a launchpad that we launched on, but it's not being managed actively. So I'm not telling anybody to stake there. But it seems to be the case that a tiny fee on your Soon transaction is going to a place where people who stake their Soon there could get that money. My assumption, and I'm going to look closer at this, is that since so few people are doing that, these fees are basically just going to a wallet that's dead, and it's essentially being burned, which is bullish anyway. And it's such a tiny amount that this helped settle my curiosity, and as a dev, give me full confidence that I think we are in an incredible place with low transaction fees, some of which you can benefit from if you add liquidity on Meteora. And we have a fat liquidity pool that's locked. And I just feel really good after this closer exploration of our trading routes that we did today together. So it was a really good space. I always appreciate talking to all of you. I won't keep going. We talked about other fun things, but at the end of the day, that was the gist of it. Dave Scales, I see your hand up, so I'll give you about 30 seconds.
So about the reward system, yeah, I tried to deposit some soul into directly on Meteora, but I don't know, I wasn't getting it, so I just left it.
Did you go to the Dexscreener link and click claim?
Yeah, I went to the Meteora. I have an account there now and everything. I linked my wallet and everything.
It wouldn't let you deposit. Did you have enough Soul and Solana? Soon and Soul?
Yeah, I did.
Really? Wait a minute. All right, let me try to do it right now, because I'll just add some more in the dev wallet and just see if it works for me. Let's see, what do I have in the dev wallet? Yeah, I got enough to do a little bit. Hold on. Otherwise I'd have to add Soul, but hold on, let's see. All right, I'm going to literally go to Dexscreener. I'm going to follow the exact same process you did. I'm doing it on my phone right this second, but I could do it on my computer. Hold on. All right, so I click claim, open in Phantom. You're on the deposit screen, right? Dave Scales, let's walk through it together. Are you on the deposit screen?
All right, let me be there. Let me go there.
Okay. So literally just click from Dexscreener. It takes you right to the deposit screen, I think. Do I still have you? It should be literally one click from Dexscreener. I should make sure I have you with me. Dave.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm going through I'm in Meteora already.
Okay, you can stay unmuted.
Okay, it's connected my wallet.
Okay, so
Okay.
sorry, wait, hold on. I want to make sure we're following the exact same. Did you go from the Dexscreener link and hit claim?
Yes.
Okay, and so now you connect your wallet, so did I, and now you're seeing the name of the pool is Soul Soon, and there should be, let's see, you should be able. So does it show TVL of 74,000? Is that the pool you're on? If you scroll down, total value locked.
It shows
It should say somewhere. It should say total value locked 74,445.
yeah, 74. Total
Okay.
value lock 74.
All right. So you're in the right pool. So hit. I'm hitting 50%. Like I'm just gonna deposit 50% of the soul and soon that like the soul that I have because that's the limiting factor for me. But you should basically just hit some number where you have equal amount of soul and soon and you have enough in your wallet.
Okay, let me
So
do
try
that.
hitting, if you're okay, I don't want to tell you how much to deposit, but if you hit 50%, do you see that?
Yeah.
All right. So after you hit 50%, you have to scroll down and check the box that says, I understand and accept the risks.
Okay, I'm on that. Okay, no, I think it says I don't have enough soul in my wallet.
I figured that. That's why
Yeah.
do you have not any soul?
No, I have like 0.02 something.
All right. So you're going to be needing a little bit more soul. Tell you what, send me your Addy. I'm going to send you 0.03 and then you can do a little bit just because I appreciate you adding liquidity. How's that sound?
Well, that sounds great. Thank you.
All right. But don't fuck me over. You better actually add liquidity.
I would definitely.
All right. Honestly, I'm doing it just because I want to help you, but also because like I love seeing people add liquidity to the project and I just love the interaction in the space. So for me, that's worth 0.03. Anyway, yeah.
I would have to send it to you on the JD wallet because I can't message soon. Soon is not following me back.
No, that's cool. Yeah. DM JD and, yeah, let's do it, man. Love it. Appreciate you. And I'm going to do DevWall now is adding a little more liquidity. Why not? You got me this far. Finger up the butt. So let's do it. We're just going to load up a little more liquidity. We actually took like a crazy amount of liquidity, right? Like it would be, we finally got through our liquidity wall. It's actually like hard to, because when you have more liquidity pool than market cap, it's actually like the volatility is so low. It's like so hard to get there. We like wanted to get past it. All right, guys, I see 2 requests. I will let you up to the stage very quick, but then we're going to wrap for real. I will absolutely not give us more than 2 more minutes, period. Just because I your time and I got
Thank
work.
you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, no, you're welcome.
I've sent it to JD.
Thank you. Yeah, I got you. Space Jam and Java, what's up? Welcome to the stage. What would you guys like to say today? You guys have anything to say? I see Space Jam and Java just requested. Space Jam and Java just requested. Space Jam, welcome to the stage. Do you have anything to say? All right, well, we're going to wrap the space. Glad you guys had your chance on the stage. As always, no, I'm sorry, bro, but we're just wrapping up. I appreciate you, though. It's the end of the space. I appreciate everybody for showing up. We learned a lot. We had some fun. We talked. We laughed a little. But we're going to wrap it up. Make sure you smash the giveaway at the top. It's your chance at some free Soon. If you didn't buy Soon yet, I'm sorry. I don't know what you're waiting for, to be honest, because we are going to be really big. It's a lot of fun. What we're doing is cool.
Jam, bro.
No, dude, come on. Come on, brother. First of all, I'm just kicking you off the stage. Like, this is obnoxious. Like, you don't do it. You just fucking don't do it, bro. Like, think about it. Think of what you just did. I'm the host of this motherfucking stage. I'm the dev of the project. And you just, like, asked for the stage. And for 2 minutes straight, I was like, Space Jam, welcome the stage. Space Jam, welcome the stage. You couldn't talk and you didn't talk. And then I finally wrap up the space. And then you just, like, cut me off and with the GM, bro. And look, I'm sorry. I see the tears. But I'm sorry, like, we gotta be respectful of the stage. I will bring you back up one more time because I don't want to be too much of a dickhead, but like, it's just not nice. So hopefully you're gonna come up and tell me that you like didn't hear it and you were rugging or whatever, and I'll give you another chance. But just, guys, read the room. Welcome back to the stage, Space Jam. Sorry, bro, but like, it's just not nice.
Yo, JD is on fire today, man.
No, I'm not. You just lit me up. Go ahead, quick.
My attention, but you know how the networks are in Nigeria, they're actually a bit fucked up. So not trying to throw the blame game, but I'm sorry for cutting you off.
Okay, I can imagine that, and I do understand it, and I am understanding. I still won't let you talk anymore, only because I really just want to wrap the space, brother. And look, I respect you. You've been around for a while, so if you want to keep supporting the project, that's great. I love it. But yeah, man, we got to be respectful of each other. And I understand connections can be tricky. They can suck. They can get in the way. Elon Ruggs. You're not a person that's come up here and abused the stage, so I respect it. But anyway, having some fun with you at the same time, ragging on each other is just part of what we do around here. And, I love you guys. We wrap up now. I was starting to tell you that you should buy soon. And Space Jam was rudely interrupting me and telling me that you like didn't want you to buy soon. I think he was fudding. No, I'm kidding. Totally messing with you. But for real, we're building something pretty cool. And what we're doing is creating content that will be irresistible, right? In the form of these conversations alone have been really valuable, I think. But also when it comes to the alpha scouts dishing stuff out in the Zoom timeline, the engagement we're going to have on the stage with Wenjamin, and then the devs wanting to get on our stage. It's just a beautiful flywheel business that we're building together. So I love you all for helping with that. Encourage you to be active in the Telegram. If there's one thing I feel like is our weakness, it's just engagement and support from the holders. Like we talked about earlier, we got a bunch of people who tell me they're holding and they've staked their bags and this and that, but they're just not super active. They're friends. They're people that spend a lot of money on their bag. Like, they probably dropped several souls. Some of them I know did. And then they're leaving it. Like, they trust the project. But if we're not active enough, at some point, even my closest friends are going to bail. So these people are not going to push the project with us. They're not going to be super active because they have their own projects and they're just not super social media active, some of them. But, we have a really good floor of really strong holders and a really bright future, but we don't have enough people that are just working for their bags. Like, I'm a bag worker myself. I'm JD. You guys know that. We just don't have enough people doing that, and we'll get there. Every day there's another one. So we are building. As a dev, I've been through a lot of this in the past where you sit there for so long and you just feel like it's never improving. We are actually improving. We're getting more people to the spaces. I'm seeing more people in the raids, even though we have raids where we can't get 3 replies. It sucks, but we have fewer of those, right? And we're getting 4 likes and 1 reply, whereas before sometimes 0, right? So that's the game. We got to get our numbers up. But I don't want to have 10 tomorrow. I want to have 2 tomorrow. That's how we should grow, because that's how you find people that actually believe, as opposed to people that are trying to push too fast, too hard, push too fast, too hard, fall too fast, too hard. We won't do that. Anyway, I love you all. Soon is now.